Fellas, you ready to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get to it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the world of Umbrea, featuring 3 first-time adventurers and 1 very patient DM. This is DND404. Welcome to session 143. We pick up in the midst of the throne of creation as a large sunburst stream came bursting through the well in the center of the throne of creation's platform, splitting a rift within the platform, separating the platform into multiple islands of blood shards and black marble. The 3 of you are now separated. It looks like each of these platforms are about 20 up to 40 feet away from one another. With a big athletics check, you might be able to jump from one another. If not, you may be able to teleport or fly. Right now, on the center platform next to the well is Minnis, staring down one of these crystal vessels that are appearing. Drell had just killed a vessel before him, while Armos and Minnis' spiritual weapon Sid are alone on another Bloodshard island to the southeast. The blood ocean is roaring, but still waving in a rhythmic motion that you've noticed from last session. Every time the waves clash and come together, it sounds like contractions, the contractions of a heartbeat. And as you look all around this vast room in the shape of a dome, with the image of the moon high above and down below in the well, with Umbrea in the distance, with the moon overshadowing it, you hear the room pulsating. We are currently on initiative 16, which is Drell. On initiative 16, that's when the platform had separated into all these islands. And before him is just a cloud of blood shards from the Acristo that you've slain. But you notice that he does reform after a certain amount of time. Drell, what are you doing?
You know what? I am going to take a full action, drink a supreme healing potion. So it's 60 HP I get back, which is like huge. I think that's probably going to be my turn. I'm just probably going to yell to Armos and Minnis, and I'm just going to say, I'll take care of this one, and you guys take care of that one, but let me know if you guys need help. I can try to make my way over there.
We're going to go back to the top of the round, initiative 23. Minnis.
My branchy Trimus form kind of like misshapes and shapes around a crystal as I kind of do this tuck and roll behind him. And as a bonus action, taking a potion, it almost like breaks into me and like seeps into my roots. And I'm taking my last superior healing potion. And then I'm just going to make 2 attacks with my sling at him. Geez, first one is a 31.
Hits.
And the second one is a 25.
Hits.
So that is going to be 17 points of force damage, plus my enlarge and the SIDS are going to add 8 to that.
As you tuck and roll through him, you smash the potion within your Trimus form, and as you shoot some of these shots, he speaks to you. Now you hear his voice within your mind, and he speaks as if his mouth is moving normally because you see him as his Minotaur version. Armos, you see him as his crystalline self, and you notice that Minnis is looking up at him, or now eye level because Minnis is bigger, but you see that where Minnis's eyesight is looking is not where his actual eyes are, due to like the image that he's projecting onto Minnis. And there is no mouth moving, but you also hear what he says. And a crystal looks at you, Minnis, and he goes, "There is no need for elements because I do not plan on killing you quickly. I will drain you. So."
And the retort from Minnis, this is just focused.
As you leer at him intensely, we're going to move to initiative 20, which is Armos and a lair action. Armos, you're going to go first.
Can I do a perception check on the surroundings, specifically the northern throne area that seems to be unchanged?
So the physical throne to your north, where all these blood shards seem to be splintering from, to show emphasis on an actual physical seat, is what you're trying to look for. And you're trying to look for any changes from when the island split?
That, and now that we saw that there was 2 Acristos and one of them died and that this other one's still standing. He obviously knows the stories about the phylactery. And he obviously has to know that something's going on here. We haven't destroyed it. We've heard tales about it. It has to be somewhere in this room.
So there's a couple of things you can do here because you have been told certain things about the phylactery and its importance. So if you want to make a perception check or a history check of some kind.
History. I love that for me. And a 26.
So you know that under speculation of Bowden and Lord Baron, now you're thinking back to Lord Baron's Divider, it was theorized that a crystal was a lich. A lich's main source of power is a phylactery, and without it, they can either just die off completely, or if it goes unfed, unfueled, or maintained, they can transform and potentially die off from there, like a demi-lich or something of that nature. The demi-liches are like starved version of liches, or they could transform into something else. And you know that a crystal is being well fed. As a matter of fact, you have been feeding him, and you think back to all the times that you've assisted a crystal because you've been building this bridge and you've been absorbing blood shards to feed him. That was a part of your agreement. It was written in blood when you had made an agreement for him for power, when you were given Reginald. There is this one line that you've heard over and over again until the bridge was complete. The line is, charge the Eclipse and fill the well. And it was always followed with, raise the bridge so our worlds can become bonded once again. But the words, charge the Eclipse and fill the well. You know that the well was at the beginning of the bridge that you've always had flashbacks to whenever you had meetings with a Christo, or these visions of a Christo, these visions of Bayloon. And there was a well that had disappeared when you actually came to Bayloon. And now you see a similar version of it. But whenever you fed the well, the spirits went to a specific location, and that was the bluish tealish moon that was high in the sky in Bayloon. It always made a stream of energy. All the souls that you fed, all the blood shards turned into this light bluish energy, the same bluish energy that came from the false Hydra. Or whenever you freed some type of powerful demonic source, all these souls flew out, whether they went to their own afterlife or to the moon in Bayloon. And that is where you think your next place is to be. You think the moon is something of great importance, not the throne.
It's all flowing back to me. As all these conversations are flooding back to me, and as the battleground kind of shaped and tore us all apart, the camera panning around Armos all of a sudden looks up to the sky and has just a damn it kind of moment. And I don't know if it's possible, but he's gonna give it a shot anyways. He's going to try to Eldritch Blast it because that's my farthest range spell. I doubt it's gonna hit it, but I'm also gonna use 2 of the blasts on the moon, that if it's possible to even reach that far, and then 2 on a Christo that's in the middle.
All right, roll to hit on a Christo first, and then we'll roll to hit the one high above.
32 to hit.
32 hits.
And a 19.
That is going to miss.
Okay, 9 points of damage, hit back 10 feet, and loses 10 movement.
You see that the vessel, a Christo, in front of Minnis slides back 10 feet. As you see your Eldritch Blast goes from like this purple, and as it goes to connect to him, specifically your Eldritch Blast turns like this bright blue, the same color as your Acrylic Shard that's in your tome. And then the 2 go for the moon as you shoot up. You shoot these spells up, and as the 2 bolts spin and entwine with each other, it seems like it almost goes out of sight and then fades. You do not see any impact. And then after about a second or 2, you see a boom, boom, as if it hit a wall of some kind. As the energy disperses. It did not land on the moon, but you felt like you hit a ceiling.
Is there any kind of distortion in the moon, or is it still solid? And
still
nothing?
solid. You don't think you made a connection to it. It felt like something stopped it along the way, but you just heard sounds of thuds.
Knowing that information, the last thing I'll do is just shout out to the guys, "It's the moon!" It's been the moon this whole time.
Why didn't I think of that?
Insert clip from session 140 where Drell goes,
The moon, Minnis. It's the moon. See, that's what I've been telling you guys.
That's my turn.
As we stay on initiative 20, there is a lair action as a crystal begins to reform in front of Drell, as it begins to retake shape, except you now see blood shards from the floor build into its feet, and you see more come from the air around him as he is now considered large, as he takes a bigger shape, standing at 12 feet tall. You also see blood shards from the pedestal that Minnis is on, the one you just shot 2 Eldritch Blasts on. You see more of these blood shards form into its body as if it's trying to heal from the 2 Eldritch Blasts and the slingshots. And then we're going to move to initiative 18, which is a Christo. The first one in front of Drell is going to take 2 attack actions against him. That's going to be 18 to miss. Ooh, getting lucky, 23.
Misses because of Minnis's +1. Well, I also have +3.
Oh, wait. Let me see where my staff goes, actually.
For those listening,
Wow.
he is 1 foot from not being in that area.
1 square, and he's not in that radius.
Yeah. So I would also like to use a reaction to riposte one of his missed attacks. I normally always miss these, but come on, Drell. That is going to be a 28 to hit.
That hits.
Nice. That is going to be 28 points of damage.
Ooh, 28 points of damage, and he's going to take a reaction on your reaction. He's going to use a rebuke.
Oh my god.
Make me a Constitution saving throw with DC 20.
That is a 27.
You pass, as you're going to take half of 16 points of necrotic damage, and he teleports 15 feet away as he tries to get some distance from you, as he spreads into like this necrotic mist and teleports away. A Christo on the center platform is going to use his action, and he is going to attack Minnis. He's going to move 15 feet in front of you, Minnis, as he's just on the edge of the well, and he's going to try to hit you with the gauntlet with a natural 1.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Beat his ass, Minnis.
I'm trying.
And his second and last attack is going to be a 28. 20 points of magical bludgeoning damage with an additional 5 points of necrotic damage as he just punches through your tree branches. That's going to be the end of a Christo's turn as we move to initiative 16, Drell.
All right. So I'm going to move the 15 feet towards a Christo, and I am going to continue to attack him. That is a nat 20.
Ooh, double the dice.
Double the dice. Second attack is a second nat 20.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is for my friends. And my third attack, is a 12. So that is 74 damage.
Oh, he is still standing. But you see, as you're laying into him, you're fighting another Goliath. That's the image he's projecting onto you. And as you're slashing into him, your axe is going through his body. And where blood would be are just broken crystals, blood shards, instead of organs and such. And you're cutting through him very easily. It's like a hot knife through butter. And he's just looking at you. He is not reacting to the pain.
Does he have a weapon of some sort?
He does not. He still has the massive ruby gauntlet that he's been hitting you with. That's the only thing that's showing his true form.
So I'm going to use a disarming strike. I don't know if it's going to work. It says when you hit with a weapon attack, you can spend 1 superiority die and add it to the damage to disarm the target if it fails a strength saving throw of a DC 19.
So there is nothing to disarm here
Okay.
because he's not holding anything physically. It's his body he's attacking you with, but you could still add the damage.
Rad. Okay, cool. I'm going to do that then, yeah. That is an additional 8 damage.
You see his body is very loose. As a matter of fact, his torso is not connected. But you see these blood shards in between and these blue sparks of like almost lightning that are like tethering him together. As you see that the blood shards are trying to reconnect, but your axe, because of your gem that's in the axe, is like stopping it from reforming.
Yes.
And it's causing it to slow down severely.
Okay, and then I would like to use my Great Weapon Master attack, which on your turn, when you score a critical hit with a melee attack or reduce a creature to 0 HP, you can make 1 additional melee weapon attack with a bonus action.
Wow, yeah, go ahead, roll to hit.
So I'm going to use that. That is going... Oh, I'm lagging. That's a 23 to hit.
That hits.
A 31 additional damage.
It breaks all these tiny blood shards.
See you later, bucko.
You may break me down,
over and over.
I'm sorry, what's talking right now?
And I will always
This pile of shrubs?
come back. I will always be here. You hear this voice reverberate within your mind. And we're going to move to initiative 23 minutes.
I'm breaking another potion on myself, but this time it's one of Drell's potions.
Ooh.
They're brews, thank you very much.
It is a brew, correct. And this brew seeps into my roots
Hell yeah.
as I glow whatever color the Swift Thistle potion is.
Is that the movement one?
That is the Dex.
Oh, that one is definitely like a neon green.
Neon green glows through my rocks and root veins. And then I'm going to keep attacking the Krista with my sling. I need to take care of this one first before I think about my next move. All right, the first one is 32 to hit.
Hits.
And the second one is 19 to hit. All right, but the first one does hit. Gonna take 17 points of force damage from the attack, and then my SIDS and my large form gives me 8 more points of force damage for 25 total.
You see this large minotaur barely holding on as the lightning-like energy tries to reconnect body parts back together as it stares at you angrily.
Armos, help a minotaur out.
As we move to initiative 20, Armos.
It's still the moon. You guys, you gotta go for the. He's still on his tirade about this.
The moon, Minnis. It's the moon.
You're right, he will go down soon.
Oh no. Okay.
Armos, I don't think they get it.
I don't think they
He's
do
gonna
either.
keep coming back. He grabs Armos by the horn, so he like turns to face him as they go face to face. He's gonna keep coming back, Armos.
I'm gonna Eldritch Blast the guy in the middle. 26, 21, 23, 21.
Let's go.
4-piece.
So that's 40 feet, 10 minus movement.
Oh, he gets hit off the platform.
You see as he gets knocked back 40 feet, with each additional blast, dissipates into a cloud of blood shards. As you see his face, the last thing to dissolve, as there's just this plume of blood shards floating off the edge of these islands over the blood raging Red Sea.
I'm going to run and jump off the platform that I'm at. And then as I make it the furthest distance possible, then I'm gonna Misty Step to next to
yes.
Huh! And then you teleport using a Misty Step onto the center platform.
When you get over there, my twig face kind of comes out like Iron Man, and you see Minnis' real face. Sorry, it's hard to hear you when I'm in here. What's up, Armos?
Oh my god, it's so weird.
First off, that was horrifying. We're surrounded by all this monstrosity, and that was the most disturbing thing I've seen today. That right there. Don't do that again. Put it away.
Nope. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. All right, what are we doing?
It's the moon. And I point up to the sky, but then I think it's reflecting off of this thing down here, and he points down the well.
Shall we destroy the well?
Yes!
Well.
God, this reminds me of like Lord of the Rings, the
Yeah.
tree guy, Treebeard, where he's just like, well, Mr. Pip, you know, like.
You see Reginald as you're saying that, he like looks down the well, this like wind softly blows through his fur. He's like, it's kind of high up though. As we stay on initiative 20, which is flare action. And you see that the blood shards over the sea begin to reform as he slowly floats back onto the platform. As the giant one from Drell begins to reform as well. And you see that a second one coming from the well, a third Acristo, now appears on the center platform close to Armos. As you see the stream of energy come from the well as blood shards begin to take form from the platform that you are standing on, and they now make a third Acristo as we move to initiative 18, which is Acristo. The new Form 1 is going to go up to Armos and is going to make 2 attacks against him with his Ruby Gauntlet. That is a nat 20 and a dirty 30. You're going to take a total of 54 points of magical bludgeoning damage from those 2 hits and an additional 16 points of necrotic damage. So boom, boom, hits you with the same gauntlet twice in a row, the same hand. The other Acristo on that platform is going to point its hand once and do one attack, and it's going to use the Cone of Blood. I'm going to need both of you to make me a Constitution saving throw of a DC 20. As this cone of blood and blood shards come out of its ruby gauntlet like a typhoon.
Ooh, 21.
23.
Goodness.
You both pass, and you're going to take half of 31 points of necrotic damage. The third Acristo, the giant one that is standing toe-to-toe with Drell, is going to make an attack against him. But instead of going for a punch, you see that he disperses in all of these large blood shards, and he's going to move through you, and you're going to make me a Constitution saving throw of a DC 20 as he reforms 15 feet away from you.
23.
You pass, and you're going to take half of 23 points of necrotic damage.
Oh my god. Hate when he does that.
As the three Acristo speak to you, you slay one, you can slay three, you can slay seven, you can slay as many as you like, but I will slay I forever. We move to initiative 16.
I'm torn. I want to help the guys on the platform, but at the same time, I don't want to leave this Acristo by himself just to do whatever he wants. So I think I'm gonna make. I'm just gonna go after the Acristo on this platform again. So I'm gonna make the 15 feet movement south on my platform to like fight this Acristo again. So my first attack is another nat 20.
Goodness.
Nice.
Okay.
So my second attack is gonna be a. Oh my god! I almost rolled the fourth nat 20. It's a 19 to hit.
Misses.
And my last attack is a 15 to hit. Okay, so that is going to be 39 damage on my melee attack. And then I'm going to use a bonus action to do another melee attack because I hit a nat 20. That is going to be a 30 to hit. That is 16 additional damage.
What else are you doing on your turn?
I think that's going to be it.
You see, as his sights are focused on you, as you deliver those deadly blows, we're going to move to initiative 23, which is Minnis.
So we gotta take care of this well. So the well is literally raised like a well with a spell circle around it.
No, it's a giant hole. Like it's on a raised platform. So you have to like go up like maybe like 1 or 2 feet. So it's like, 3 steps up to look down. The hole itself, the well, is a pretty big opening. It's like 15 feet in diameter. And it looks out into like this void of the astral sea, as if it's being used as like a wizard would use an orb to scry. It looks like it's scrying on a site of some kind.
I'm gonna go up to the hole, look at Armos, look down into the well, and shoot straight down into the well and see what happens. Here goes one shot. That's going to be, if I need to roll to hit, 27 to hit.
27. As you shoot down with your slingshot, you see as it goes, and it goes further and further and further. You see that the sling eventually stops as it reaches its maximum range. It starts to float. It went to its max range that it possibly can go before it loses momentum, and it slowly stops. So you see it drifts in the same direction, but it no longer has that momentum. It no longer has that impact power. Make me a perception check.
Wow, that's a 21.
You look up to look around to see if there's any type of change, and you notice that one of the Minotaurs squints at you.
Wait, one of the what?
One of the Acristos in Minotaur form.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that's where I was confused.
I see 2 Minotaurs.
Yeah, you see 2 Minotaurs, yeah.
We're talking about Minnis.
Well, it looks like you're right, Armos, but I'm not going to be able to reach it with my equipment. Good luck. And I jump off the platform and bonus action float as you see a tornado hurricane holding me up of all these SIDS in my Trimus form. I'm gonna shoot my last slingshot at the Acristo next to Armos. There's a 21 to hit.
21 hits.
Wow, we'll take it. Now this is gonna take 19 points of force damage total as my SIDS in my giant form. That's some oomph.
You float off the platform after you take this shot. You don't take any attacks of opportunity here as they're too far away. As you move to initiative 20, which is a lair action, and Armos. Armos, what are you doing? Reginald notices that you're bleeding very heavily.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, Armos noticed first before probably Reginald.
Take a
did.
look at that.
Armos.
Yeah.
Armos, this isn't looking too good.
No shit.
and he like points and taps on your head to try to give your attention to Minnis as he floats away. And that in his Trimus form, Trimus looks very sturdy and fortified, but you could tell that like some of his roots are like necrotically burned, as if they're like singed from like deathly attacks. Like the most outer roots, they look wilted, despite his healthy tree form, showing that even Minnis has some wear and tear on him. And he goes, "You just gonna keep coming back?" You see Reginald is like looking around frantically, and Ocristo speaks. He goes, "There's no amount of plotting or betrayal or traitors that can help you here. You are in my world, and your world will also become my world."
None of these options are good. They're all bad.
This is the final boss.
First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bonus action use a potion of superior healing. I am then going to move to the well, which I think unfortunately takes a opportunity attack.
You're going to take an attack of opportunity here because you're leaving his melee range.
Yes.
So he's going to take an attack of opportunity on you.
Yep.
With his gauntlet. There's an 18 to hit.
I am going to wait a minute.
Shield to shield.
Yes, I can wait.
Got +1 to your AC already.
Yep. And then if I use shield, that gives me 5. Boom.
That is your reaction.
Yes.
You cast shield and it misses. And you approach the edge of the well. And as you look down, you feel like you're looking into the astral sea. And you see that the wind begins to blow into you. And you're looking down this bright tunnel made up of blood shards. And at the other end of the bright tunnel is this moon looking back up at you with the world of Umbrea eclipsed behind it.
As I move to the well, I'm going to cast Wall of Force, which will be a hemispherical dome so that the top half of this is a bubble around me that then I can hopefully do something to this well next turn. Armos is just buying time at this point.
That went so much better than I thought that turn was going to go, to be honest.
Bro, I just looked through... dude, when you were going, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
You threw the whole tome at him with that turn. You're like, holy shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna do this, and this.
We're going to go make me a perception check at the end of your turn.
Yes, I was gonna say I want to see when I do that. If I look up at the moon, is it still there? Also, 17.
You look up and the moon is still there, and you're looking at this massive moon in the sky that's miles ahead of you, hanging like a star normally would, as if you were to look at the moon normally in your home world. And you look down, you still see the moon in the bottom of the well, a much clearer picture of it, and you see that the two Acristos and all three of them shout, "No!" And they go to rush towards the dome that you've created, and they start punching. Staying on initiative 20 is a lair action. And Armos, as you look down at the moon and at the well, trying to catch your breath as you try to figure something out, you see that something bright is heading in your direction. And a rock is coming at you, a bloodshard against brighter and brighter and brighter. You're going to make me a dexterity saving throw with disadvantage because there's no real room to move as it explodes at the top of the dome that you've created.
So I got an 8, but hold on.
There's more.
In a 15, but I'm going to use Adelram's thing and automatically pass.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is your one use
Yeah, I know.
for a long rest.
I think it's worth it.
You're going to take half of 48 points of damage
Sounds like a good use.
as this bloodshard meteor explodes into the dome and completely fills this room with magical piercing damage and a mix of necrotic damage. As you see Reginald, as you see like this bloodshard stick, we can't survive in here.
We have to. As Armos is like, just took this massive amount of damage and is just trying to figure out what to do while he's still bandaging his wounds.
We're gonna move to initiative 18, which is Acristo. And you see that the first Acristo, the one that was next to you, tries to teleport, but it is immediately stopped on the wall of force. The second one is going to make 2 attacks against it, and they are both met with the same stopping power as the one who tried to teleport between it. As you hear these cracks in the magical weave that is circling the well, protecting it, and it's echoing something fierce as the blood now loses rhythm, or the rhythm changes in the blood ocean. The once calm heartbeat that you heard now speeds up. It It seems like the room is now pumping with adrenaline. The third one is going to make a beeline towards the well. He will take an attack of opportunity here from Drell if you want to use your reaction for it.
I would, yes. Be like, excuse me, where do you think you're going? That is a dirty 20. 26 points of damage.
As you see that he dashes over as he floats, and you see the blood shards begin to form from the blood ocean, from the pedestals as he lands on there, and is also trying to assist the other two Christos and trying to gauge what is happening. We're gonna move to initiative 16, Drell.
Oh man, this is so hard. I was gonna try to jump across, but I don't think I can. So what I would like to do is, as a bonus action, I'd like to consume one of my quick thistles. It's actually my last one. That's going to give me an additional 15 feet of movement. So my movement will then be 45 feet. I would like to use my movement to run and jump across.
What's your strength score?
20.
You can move up to 20 feet jumping if you run at least 10 feet.
But the gap is 30. So does that mean I just can't jump across this?
Yeah, you would have to jump to the throne island and then jump. So you have to jump like north and then jump south. So you have to make a two hopper here.
Okay.
What if he burns his inspiration die to get it across?
No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so...
I'm trying to bargain for you.
Well, I want that. So how about this? If I use a dash action, so that would give me 80 feet of movement. Can we say that I jumped to the north where the throne is and then south onto the island where everyone else is at?
I'll tell you what, you make me an athletics check because you're really going to distance. You're going to be jumping and reaching for a ledge that is literally bleeding blood into the ocean. If you make me an athletics check of a DC 17, I'll say you catch the edge and you're able to pull yourself up. If you fail, you will be dropping 100 feet into this fast beating blood ocean. Other than that, you'll have to take 2 turns to get there because you need to dash and jump over.
Well, it wouldn't be the last episode if I didn't. All right, so I'm gonna try to do it. I think I can do it. Okay, so I'm gonna move. I'm gonna take that deal and I'm gonna try to run and jump off both islands. So you said
Take that deal?
I'm taking that deal. DC 17, you said, athletics.
DC 17.
Okay.
That's Chariots of Fire. Blare in the distance.
That is a 28.
Ooh, you hop, and at Armos, you look up as Reginald pulls on your horns. As you look up, and you see Drell as he's like windmilling his arms, and you see that he falls below the island as if he's about to fall off, and you see just a few fingers that appear just above the bleeding blood coming from the side of the Bloodshard Island as he pulls himself up. As you see all of his veins in his glory as he pulls himself with one hand and then finally with the other and crawls up onto the ledge. Oh, he made it.
Yeah.
He really flew.
I really did. Okay, and that is going to be my turn.
We're going to go to initiative 23, Minnis.
So this quick thistle potion, it adds 15 feet of movement.
Mm-hmm.
To just all your movement?
No, it adds it to your movement speed. It would not affect your hover speed because the hover speed, correct me if I'm wrong, is coming from your SIDS.
But it's still a speed.
Yeah, technically it's
a flying speed.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's off your speed, right?
I gotta be honest, I didn't think this far ahead when I created the brew.
Because like my boots will affect my float as well, because they just say your speed, not your walking speed. It says all your speed is doubled.
Oh, it specifically says all your speed is doubled?
Yeah, it says your speed is doubled. It doesn't specify walking.
Let me resource myself to the text. I'll allow it. I rolled a 17 for you.
So I'm going to bonus action use that quick thistle, and that's going to add 15 feet of movement to my walking speed, which is going to bring me up to 50. And that's also going to bring my climbing speed, my swimming speed up to that as well, because I'm a ranger. But my flying speed is now 25. It's in Armos' hands now, Sid. Alec, what color is your quick thistle potion, by the way?
I'd like to think that one is like a illuminated silver.
Silver, crash, potion against my chest, silver through the branches as I float up 25 feet, healing myself in the process as my roots shine with magical energy.
What are you healing yourself with?
I'm going to do a 3rd level Cure Wounds. As I get 36 points of health back.
You heal yourself as we go back to initiative 20, which is Armos and the lair action.
Oh my god, here we go.
Armos, we gotta do this. This wall is gonna last forever. As you're seeing 3 Acristos, boom, boom, boom. This is only gonna last a few minutes, Armos. We need to do something now. Now's the time.
Okay, I want to definitely look down there and get a better perspective. Do I notice being here, is it maybe cutting off the power?
You don't feel like there's any disconnect of power, but they don't like the fact that you domed this area off. By you being in there, the moon itself had reacted to your presence and shot a Bloodshard meteor towards you. However, it looks too far away to shoot a projectile at it.
I should have jumped after all.
That's what I'm thinking. Armos kind of looks around for half a moment and gets one final I think I'm down to restorative ointment at this point.
Nice.
Really regret giving me and Minnis those potions, huh?
Yeah, I didn't expect to be here. Armos looks in his sack, realizing that he doesn't have any more potions left, and does a jump into the well.
This guy told me not to, and now he's jumping in. Come on.
We gotta say something new. You have like a big blade. Wait. And you see that Reginald's like holding on, and all of his hair begins to blow back as you jump into the well towards the moon, as you get smaller and smaller and smaller, as you begin to instantly fall 500 feet. You begin to fall down this long blood shard tunnel, and there are blood shards all around you, and surging in between each of the giant blood shards, this tunnel of crystal, is this surging blue spark of energy as they begin to course through all of the crystals. As you find yourself falling instantly 500 feet down this hole, and as you begin to fall, you feel as if gravity is moving you in different directions. You begin to go left, right, as you're narrowly dodging these rigid, sharp edges of these crystals that are just tearing through all the cape and leather, the loose clothing on your body, on your equipment. It's just being nicked and shredded away as you are narrowly dodging these crystals in this tunnel. And we are going to move to the lair action if you can't do anything else. This counts as your movement.
I do want to do something else. I'm gonna cast a spell, and it's gonna be Armor of Agathis. I get 25 temporary hit points.
You cast Armor of Agathis on yourself as Reginald's like, "Ugh!" As you're beginning to go through this blender of blood shards, as your body is just turning, and you're like casting the spell, and the wind is blowing everywhere as the blood shards are almost cutting you through your armor. As we go to initiative 20, as we stay on initiative 20 is a lair action, and you see these blood shards begin to protrude out almost like spikes. Make me a dexterity saving throw with DC 14 Armos as these spikes are shooting out at you, trying to impale you.
Hang on. I rolled a 10, but I'm gonna use Dark One's luck at this point. 10, 20.
20. You narrowly escape one of these blood shard spears coming through the wall as it tries to stab you. Then a few more come, just barely missing you as you fall this 500 feet. As you move to initiative 18, which is Christo, and you see that they start nervously reacting, so trying to beat down the wall of force that they cannot get through. One goes to look at Drell, goes to attack him, while the other two continue to beat on the wall of force. You're going to take 2 attacks here, Drell.
Bring it, bitch.
30-20 to miss.
Misses.
And a 19 to miss.
Reaction.
Wow. Darn. All right, take your reaction.
Oh, hi. Fuck, I just rolled. That's an 18.
18 misses.
All right.
As we'll move to initiative 16, Drell.
All right, that's what I was waiting for. Be like, hey, it's me again. Sorry. I'm just going to continue to attack the Acristo that's in front of me. That is going to be a 22 to hit, a 21 to hit, and a 25 to hit. That is 77 damage.
This thing is barely holding on.
Okay.
As you see, its limbs are floating like Rayman as the crystal at the edge of its limbs trying to reconnect from your vicious attack.
I would like to action surge and continue attacking. First one is a 23 to hit, a 21 damage on the first attack.
It fades into this cloud of bloodshard as you slash through.
What I would then like to do is make my way to the one that was next to that that's continued to beat on the well. Okay, so that is an 18 to hit.
18 misses.
And the second one was also an 18. So what I will do then is action surge a second time and try to kill this guy. Just in case anyone listening is like, what the heck? This is what I got for hitting level 17 as a fighter. I got a second action surge. It's one of the things I've got. So
Hit him again.
that is it. Yeah. Another one. 26 to hit. 22 to hit. Oh, this is almost a nat 20. And a 25 to hit. That is 79 damage.
Dead. Another cloud of blood shards disperses on your series of vicious blows.
Can audio go through Armos's wall? Like if I yell something, would Armos be able to hear it as he's falling?
I think you can.
Yep. Audio can pass through.
As a bonus action, what I would like to do is rally Armos. I know it's not going to do much, but I'm going to just say, hang in there, Armos, and get the job done. And that is going to be a D10 of HP to Armos. Oh, fuck. It was almost a 10, but it's a 1. So you got 1 extra HP.
Any port in a storm at this point, you know what I'm saying?
So since I don't have anything in my charisma, that's why it's plus 0. So it's literally a flat D10, which I rolled a 1. So I gave Armos 1 extra HP.
He is too far away to receive that benefit.
Wait, what?
Shouting down in the well?
All he has to do is hear me.
Yes, audio goes through the wall. That doesn't necessarily mean he can hear you.
Isn't it well echoey though?
Yeah, right? Hello.
Get into reverberation physics.
Actually, no, wait, that's a very good point. I've been persuaded. I love it. What are you yelling to him as it reverberates through the well?
I yell, Armos, hang in there. Get the job done.
You hear Reginald cry out for you as you move to initiative 23 as you receive 1 stoic hit point.
Okay. I am going to bonus action click my heels now, and that is going to double all of my movement. Every other speed besides flying is 100 feet, and my flying speed is now 50 feet, as I'm going to move up at an angle 25 more feet. So I'm now 50 feet above the Acristos and the well and everything going on down there. And then as an action, would you believe I'm going to heal myself again? I got the time, so I need to do it while I have a chance. I think it's going to be a second level this time. Just a second level cure wounds on myself. Look at our companion, Sid. We have made powerful friends. Let's get 19 points of health back.
That's pretty good.
As we move to initiative 20, which is Armos and the lair action, you instantly move 500 feet. As you begin to move and flail and wander, as the blender of blood shards begin to pierce out, as you are now narrowing into a tunnel, as you feel the presence of blood shards and the astral sea blurring together, as you feel like you're being jetted out, as your body begins to warp a little bit. You move 500 feet, you are still in this tunnel. Make me another dexterity saving throw with DC 14.
Yes. 15.
You are still dodging these blood shards that are panically trying to stab you through this blender of blood shards. You can still make an action, but your movement is already made for you as you're being pulled.
I'll use the ointment while I'm falling.
There you go.
So with the ointment, it takes an entire action, and I get 15 health points back. Hang on. And then as I'm falling, I'm just rubbing this all over my face. It's okay.
This is really
it's
time
okay.
for facial care right
Things
now.
are fine. Everything's fine.
Are you serious?
You just hold it down in front of your face and let the gravity just push it up.
Oh yeah, there you go. I got it's in my nose.
I understand facial health care is very important, but is this really the time to be applying insert facial cream ad here?
Yeah.
Right now.
Reminder that this is the most serious episode of our podcast today.
As we move to a lair action, as only one of the crystals reform, as you see the one next to Drell, the small one, begins to reform and reshape. As you see, it takes a step back and it looks at the wall. It's like looking at the wall, the dome that Armos had placed that is still up, that he is still concentrating on. And he goes, I understand. You see that like his eyes shimmer. Drell, he's looking at something that you can't see. And that turns to you and is going to raise his hand, and you're going to make me a Constitution saving throw of a DC 20 as a cone of blood and blood shards hurricane out of his palm.
It's a 24.
You're going to take half of 37 points of necrotic damage.
Oof.
He goes to punch you with his ruby fist with a 28 to hit.
I am going to use a reaction, Dragon's Tail. Dan, we still get your +1.
Oh yeah, barrier's up.
Nice. My AC is 29 now, so that misses.
As your tail comes up and deflects that attack, the second Acristo is going to look up at Minnis, and you see that he holds his hand up and shoots 2 blasts at you.
Bring it.
A 17 to miss.
Wow.
Wow, at a 15 to miss. Lucky.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. He rolled real low on that one. As these 2 blasts come towards you and they miss narrowly,
You just see pockets of branches break away.
as we move to initiative 16, Drell.
Man, won't these guys just die? That is a 28 to hit.
28 hits. It goes, death is nothing more than a construct.
Oh yeah? How about a 29 to hit?
You can die and still live.
Okay, well I just rolled a nat 20 on my 3rd attack, so. I'm also going to make this a menacing strike, and then I'm also going to use my bonus action since I rolled a nat 20 to take another attack. And that's a 25 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. So that is all in total 117 damage.
Explodes its numerous blood shards. Another swarm in front of you. As you see the electricity, the blue life force is trying to reconnect all the blood shards back together.
Yeah, that is going to be my turn.
As we move back to initiative 23 minutes.
All right, Sids. We need to keep them at bay until Almos does the thing. And you hear my spectral Sid go, yes. It's gonna move 20 feet.
Oh my god, have we been forgetting about the Spectral Sid this whole time?
I haven't been forgetting about him. I just couldn't move because I was using bonus actions.
Oh, right, okay.
And then after the spectral Sid starts slow motion running, floating across the islands, Minnis is going to take some just regular attacks at the only crystal that's left.
Roll a hit.
What else to do, right? It's going to be... I haven't rolled nat 20 in so long. 26. And a 23, as it's going to take... Dang! Good rolls. As it takes 40 points of force damage with my slingshots and the Sids helping out.
You pepper Christo as the wounds are slowly healing, but your shots are disrupting its flow.
It's almost over, Cristo. Face your fate. As I end my turn.
You have yet to home. As we move to initiative 20, which is Armos and a lair action. As we move through the tunnel, you're going to be launched another 500 feet as you now feel like you're falling upwards. You're falling in reverse as the Bloodshard tunnel begins to blur into the astral sea as you're seeing these large conduits of blue energy mixing with all these Bloodshard energy as lightning is streaking across rapidly as you feel like you're being ported to somewhere. You feel like you're about to be launched somewhere. What are you doing on this turn?
Another little ointment. Oh man, this ointment's so great. Oh my
I'm gonna need you to
goodness.
focus.
No. You don't understand. Wait, so since I'm using it as my action, I get the full amount, right? 8,
No.
16. Oh.
Because this is a multi-purpose item,
I heal for 10.
and you're still concentrating on your wall of force.
Yes, very much.
It's been 3 turns since that wall of force has gone up, so there's 7 more. Oh no, wait. It is 10 minutes. So 93 more rounds it's still up for. Okay. That's fair. It's fine. It's fine. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So we're going to move, staying on initiative 20. You're going to make me another dexterity saving throw with DC 14 as all these Bloodshard spears come and attack you.
+1.
+1. So 14.
Oh no, you're definitely outside of my zone.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Then I failed.
You're going to take, as it stabs through your belly, 14 points of magical slashing damage, 8 points of necrotic damage.
As I'm falling, my armor of Agathis is barely hanging on.
Make me a concentration check as you took DC 12.
So I got an 18.
Pass.
That's my turn. As I keep falling. Ah!
As we move to initiative 18, Christo. And Christo is going to look up at Minnis, and he's going to make 4 attacks towards you as he lobs these Beilun blasts. The first one is going to be a 16.
Miss.
The second one is going to be a 23. It's be 20 points of magical bludgeoning with an additional 16 points of necrotic damage.
So 36 total.
Magical force, sorry.
Yeah,
Force
36 total that I'm going to have with a reaction.
damage.
And with that reaction, I'm using my Storm Dispersal. And I'm teleporting 30 feet upwards at an angle, so I'm now 80 feet in the air.
You see that with his other 2 attacks, he slams his hand into the floor, and you see shooting out from the floor are 2 more of these Beilun blasts shooting straight upward at you, getting
that's
around the wall of force. A nat 1 and then 32. There's the numbers I want to see.
I might hit. Yeah, I might do it.
With an additional 16 points of force damage, with an additional 5 points of necrotic damage.
Chose the right one to have. My goodness.
As he makes those 4 attacks, we're going to go to initiative 16, Drell.
Okay. I'm going to move my way around the dome. Does the echo method still work or no?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see how many superiority die I have left. I might not be able to do it. I could do it, but this is gonna be the last one you got, Armos. Sorry. I'm just gonna move my way around to the last remaining copy, and then I am going to just yell down the well, "Hang in there, Armos. Minnis and I have faith in you." It's not much, but it's 4 HP.
All right.
And then I'm going to take my attack action on the Christo. That is going to be a 19 to hit.
18 misses.
All right. That's a nat 1. Damn it, I thought it was going to hit. And last one is a 22 to hit.
Futile. As he casts a reaction.
Okay.
So you're going to hit him. He's going to take half this damage.
Okay. So that is just going to be 25 damage.
So he's going to use a reaction here as he turns into all these blood shards and goes through you as he moves an additional 15 feet. As he takes half that damage, you're going to take 20 points of magical slashing damage. All these blood shards go through you. As we move to initiative 23, Minnis.
Yes, sir. So first things first, Spectral Sid is going to float 20 more feet and is now floating at the edge of the middle island with the well, ready to hop on at any moment.
Ready.
And then Minnis is going to fly down 30 feet. So he's floating 50 feet in the air. And I'm going to use a 3rd level Cure Wounds on myself again.
Okay.
Oh, I needed that. Okay, we're getting somewhere.
What else are you doing on your turn?
Nothing else I can do.
As we move to initiative 20, which is a lair action. And
Ointment. Oh, this ointment. It's just really coming in close.
hold your horns, Armos, all right? Hold your horns, because you got to fall 500 feet first. As you are launched through this tunnel. And you are officially out on your 4th turn.
Woo!
You get launched, relinquished from this tunnel of blood shards as you are sent into a realm of purple energy. You see billions of little lights in the distance that closely resemble stars as you're floating, but there's no more attacks of these red blood shards, these red spears trying to impale you. As you are floating, you are slowing down as you feel the pull from an exterior force. You no longer feel this immense pressure all around you, but rather from a single focal point. Well, let's say to your west as you land on this floating island, and it is a massive blood shard. And as you land on this blood shard, you see blackness all around you with these little dots that look like stars. And then you see mixed in with the blackness are these purple cloud, almost like blurs. Like if you would rub your eye too much, you would see those squiggly lines. That's what it feels like all around you. And then you are overcome with a sense of self-sufficiency. Your dry mouth that you had while you were fighting is gone. You no longer feel hungry. You no longer require water. You don't even feel the need to breathe. You go to take a breath and your lungs do not inflate. You don't feel that sensation of your body filling up with air. You feel light. You are still hurt physically from your wounds, but you feel like you no longer need any external assistance with these minor things that would sustain your body normally. And you look out to this vast openness, and then you see way in the distance a large boulder of some kind. It looks like a planet, except it is not destroyed like you saw in the Garden of Victories. It is completely covered with red clouds and black smog. And then you look around, you see all these blood-shard islands like you saw inside Bayloon, and then you see from where you landed, 300 feet away, floating in the astral sea where you find yourself, is that bluish, tealish moon lingering, and you see way in the distance your home of Humbrea as you find yourself in the astral sea on top of this blood shard island and this large moon only 300 feet away with this immense pressure of evil. Although it does not have a face, it's rigid in nature. It looks like exactly like the moon you've been seeing throughout your entire adventure, and although it does not have eyes, you feel it staring at you.
Armos, where are we?
I think we hit the bottom of the well. I look at the moon, kind of glaring, trying to figure out how I'm going to deal with this thing. Reginald, that's our target right there.
Is that the Phylactus?
Has to be. This has to be it. I start walking towards it, and I'm getting ready to Eldritch Blast it just to see what happens.
You walk forward and you realize you are literally walking in space. You are walking in the astral sea as gravity is insanely light, as those blood shards have a light gravitational pull. These blood shards that you're standing on look like it's acting as like a natural defense for the moon the way they are placed. The astral plane works in many mysterious ways. We'll get into it later. But this thing is keeping you here as long as you want it to keep you there. You're very light here. Your movement is quadrupled, and you feel like if you wanted to float, you can. As you launch, Eldritch Blast, go ahead and roll to hit.
Come on, boys. A 22.
You see as these Eldritch Blasts go to it, you see a vroom, all like this red shield emanates from it as it uses a reaction and casts Shield, raising its AC to 25.
So I hit 25 and then 2 more 24s. A Eldritch Blast goes through and does 12 damage.
24 points of damage is done to the surface of the moon. As you see as the Eldritch Blast hits, shards begin to burst out. And Minnis and Drell, the room that you're standing in, the throne of creation, begins to shake as you notice that the vessels that you've been fighting begin to look around, look at the well, and then look at you two.
Looks like he made it, a Christo.
Yeah.
And then as that Eldritch Blast hits, I want to hurl it through hell.
Oh!
I don't know if that can happen, but that's
you
what I want
shoot
to
this
do.
blast, and a portal of inverness begins to swirl open. As you see that the moon begins to get sucked in. And as it begins to get sucked in, you see this deep glow of red energy around the moon as it resists its pull and shoots a blast through the portal, disintegrating it as it remains in place.
All right.
You hear a crystal's voice echo in your mind as if it's speaking from the moon. Your attempts are futile and your cheap tricks mean nothing. The power and knowledge that I contain, you have discerned a fate better than death. I will consume your knowledge and add it to my own.
Did it just speak to us?
Yeah, it did. I'm just freaking annoyed that the Armos is getting more with rage as he's looking at Reginald. Reginald, if there was a time that you're gonna be like a 8-winged demon or, you know, sprout, you know, lasers out of your eyes, this might be the moment, guy.
I don't have that. He ripped it from you. You're the funnel. I'm your funnel.
So I can move and I can float.
You're only considered hovering or whatever when you're not attached to something.
All right, so I'm gonna move to the island that I'm currently on. I'm kind of running towards it, like trying to get closer and just get a better vantage point. So me and Reginald kind of run off straight towards the moon. That'll be my turn.
You notice that the moon, as the sun shimmers in the background, you notice that it has a glass face, as if the moon itself is one giant crystal. At the end of your turn, it makes a legendary action and uses the spell Sunburst as a giant beam shoots at you. As it launches towards you, crashing on to the Bloodshard Island. Make me a Constitution saving throw of a DC 20.
I got an 11. So what does that do?
You fail.
You win.
You're gonna take 39 points of radiant damage, and you are blinded for 1 minute.
I don't know if you won.
As this large beam shoots at you, as it glows red, then it connects as it lands and turns this like bluish, evilish, purple, reddish color. As you move to initiative 18, the one at Christo, and it's going to make an attack on Drell as it runs up to him, and it's going to make 4 melee attacks on him. Oh, roll me a concentration check, Armos. You need to beat a concentration check of a DC 20.
Negative.
You lose concentration, and the wall of force drops. And you see a Christo looks at it in the Throne of Creation. You see that a Christo vessel looks at it, and then looks at Drell, and then begins to try to beat him with his ruby gauntlet. It's a 17 to miss, 19 to miss, a 19 to miss. Come on!
Misses.
26 to hit.
Reaction.
Damn.
Nice. So I have a 31 AC right now. Or sorry, 34 AC.
You deflect it with your tail as she comes in for the final blow and dodge it.
I don't think so.
You move to initiative 16, Drell.
I'm just gonna try to battle back and try to help Armos as much as I can by keeping these guys away from the well. Be like, you want to get to Armos, you gotta go through me. That is a 26 to hit. 13 on the second one.
As you hit, he deflects the second attack.
28 to hit. That's 47 damage.
That vessel blows into a bunch of shards as you have taken it out, and there are currently no vessels standing before you.
I think I just look at Minnis and I say, Minnis, what's the game plan here? What are we doing?
Looks like Armos needs our help.
Yes, of course, but how? Do we just keep killing these guys, or I look at the well, do we jump in? Like, what do we do?
Minnis floats down 50 feet above the well with a tornado swirling around him of Sids, keep him afloat. The spectral Sid kind of comes next to you.
Oh my god, this thing kind of freaks me out. Hey.
Let's take care of this moon. It starts going down the well.
So your turn, you're going to go down. Drell, you still have your movement.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in the well, I guess, after him.
You jump into the well, and both of you, as you are thrusted into this blender of blood shards. Drell, on your initiative, you get dropped 500 feet into the well as you see all these bloodshard spears try to stab you, as you feel like you're being torn in all these different directions, as your movement is now restricted to you, as you're being forced through, as if you're being pulled somewhere.
Ow, ow, ow.
At the end of your turn, Christo is going to make a legendary action as it shoots a bolt of a Bagaloon blast at Armos from the moon with a 19 to hit.
That would hit.
You can take 21 points of force damage. As we move to initiative 23, which is Minnis. Minnis, you run and jump in. Your movement is stricken from you as you also move 500 feet into this tornado of blood shards. I'm gonna have both of you, because I forgot to do it for you, Drell. Both of you roll me a dexterity saving throw with DC 14 as all these blood shard pillars are trying to stab you as you are going through this tunnel.
Nat 20. Ooh. Fourth nat 20 of the episode.
That's going to be a 30.
So because you two are now falling through this scene here, as you're falling through this next section, I want to do both of your turns at the same time moving forward.
Yeah.
X amount of turns do need to pass before you make it through this tunnel here. As we're going to move to initiative 20, which is Armos and a lair action. Armos, at the edge of this Bloodshard Island, floating through the astral sea, facing down phylactery moon. What are you doing?
I'm blinded, so I asked Reginald, point me in the right direction.
I can't see. What makes you think if you can't see it, hit me too? Nimrod?
Reginald is like rubbing his eyes. He's like putting his ears over his like blinders from any lingering sunlight.
Oh, this sucks.
As I was still running in that direction before I was blinded, I kind of know which direction it was, and I cast Lightning Bolt. So the idea is that I'm casting it in a line, and I know where the moon is, and it's ginormous. So even if I'm like am off a little bit in any which way, it says in a direction I choose. It doesn't say at a target, by the way.
Yeah, it does say in the direction you choose, but hold on.
I'm coming for you, Chriso. Take this.
You're gonna make me an Arcana check.
Okay.
If we weren't in the Astral Sea, I would allow it.
Nat
But
20.
the Astral Sea doesn't.
Nice. Let's go. It's rubbing off.
Okay, you got me. You shooters roll of lightning at me. You got me.
That might be one of the best nat 20s we've had all campaign.
Easily.
Okay.
Okay, I just can't wait to see a moon do a dexterity saving throw also.
It does not move, and you see that as the lightning bolt connects, you see this red shield gloss over as it uses a legendary resistance and passes.
It will take half of 39 damage.
Takes 19 points of damage as the lightning bolt cracks and sizzles on the glassy prismatic surface.
So when I did my Eldritch Blast, it did more damage.
As you are floating towards it, at the end of your turn, it's going to take a legendary action.
Yeah. Bring it on.
First, Armos makes the check to get out of blindness, right?
Oh, yes. At the end of your turn, you make a constitution check to see if you leave the blindness.
14?
No, it is a 20. It's DC.
Oh, is it
Saving throw
DC 20?
Yeah, it's his.
It's a hard one.
Yeah. So it's going to try to make it. It's going to make an attack against you with a 26 to hit.
26, that hits.
That is going to deal 19 points of force damage.
Okay, so here's a question. If I go down and get back up, am I still blinded?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
All right, then I will choose to do that instead.
You get shot as you shoot this lightning bolt. As you get hit with this Balloon blast as you fade. And Reginald goes,
No, we're right at the end. Almost. You can't get out of me. We're right here. This is it.
boom, and he punches your chest and gives you an emergency adrenaline shot as you wake up with 1 hit point as you use your tome ability, which brings you back once.
Yep. Hang on, let me check that off. Okay, it's good. This is going as just how I planned it.
Really? Because I can see your ribs.
As we stay on initiative 20, which is a lair action, and you see that all this energy swirls within the prismatic shell. As you see it beats like a heart on its lair action. Minnis, Drell, you see the walls contracting as you feel like it regains something. We're gonna go from initiative 20 to initiative 16, which is Drell.
Okay.
As you begin to fall through. Oh yeah, so both of you are falling through.
I just stare at Minnis.
As you fall another 500 feet,
Hey.
both of you make me dexterity saving throws of DC 14. 5
17.
Pass. As they move back to initiative 20, which is Armos.
All right. After hitting it with lightning, I realized it didn't give that same blue hue that my Eldritch Blast did and didn't do the extra damage. So I'm going to wind up. Reginald, give me everything you got. And I'm going to shoot 4 of those beams. 26?
It's going to attempt to use a shield as a reaction, but you still hit. As its AC now becomes 25.
30. 17. Ugh.
20 to miss and a 17 to miss. Roll for those 2 hits.
So right away, we have 25 damage, but then, so I'm gonna use my hit die. Those reset when we had a
Long rest, yeah.
Long rest. Perfect.
You have 20 hit die.
I'm going to use them all.
You're going to use your tome ability and use all your hit die. Okay.
I mean, this is the time to use them.
True. I think what's damage you do?
I gotta do some drill math. Hang on 1 second.
Roll, man.
So you're dumping 20 hit die into 1 bolt?
I'm going to spread them to evenly between the two.
Okay, so 10 and 10.
The first Eldritch Blast, 49 damage.
Okay, manageable. Okay. That first bolt does 98 points of damage as you lob an Eldritch Blast. As it's empowered, and you feel the tome off that first shot sapping your life essence away as you feel the Acrylic Shard glow as you are using every last bit of strength here to throw out that Eldritch Blast as you follow it up with another.
The next blast is 73 total damage.
73, totaling to 146 damage.
There you go.
As you lob another one. And you feel that these Eldritch Blasts, they are impactful. You hear the crystal like surface shattering, almost cracking, and you hear groans of pain coming from a crystal. And you feel the immense pressure like loosening, and the heartbeat goes as it begins to pick up like it's panicking as it suffered 2 deadly blasts, and you hear an audible no as for the first time you hear a Christo angry. It does not move
Yeah.
despite you using Eldritch Blast.
As I'm floating even closer to it, there's more where that comes from. And as I'm floating closer towards the moon,
He's going to use a legendary action and block your path as he casts a spell. As you see this eruption of fire, up to 10 10-foot cubes, he is going to trap you in a box of fire all around you. You're gonna make me a dexterity saving throw as you are being burned as this solar flare forming around you like a Charizard doing a fire spin.
got a 17.
That is a fail as you take 23 points of fire damage.
As I start to take the damage, I use a reaction. Tomb of Leviticus.
Oh man, I knew that was coming.
I forgot about
Oh,
that. You needed
baby,
a
I'm
little
so
one health,
glad you're using
a
that.
little 1 point of health. Cause
It's
yeah,
a smart move.
okay,
For sure.
yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
As a reaction, when you take damage, you can encase yourself in ice, which melts away at the end of your turn. You gain 10 temporary hit points per level of Warlock level. So I get 200 temporary hit points.
Ooh, yep. And you take 23 fire damage. So 23 comes off your temporary hit points. As we move to initiative 16 and initiative 23, which is Drell and Minnis, as the both of you are going to make me dexterity saving throws with DC 14 as you move another 500 feet as you spend your third turn in this blender of blood shards. As you see the corporeal astral sea blur in with the blood shards, as you see the snapping of energy as all these blue lightning streaks are coursing through each individual blood shard, as you feel the room getting tighter and tighter based off Armos' attacks just squeezing around you as if you're inside of a heart.
I got a dirty 20.
17 for Minnis.
Pass.
And before we venture forward, I'm wondering if there's anything I can roll if I could have been using actions this whole time to try and use my fly speed to push myself a little further into this stream. The only reason I ask is because I have a fly speed
Yes, you can.
to maybe possibly get to Armos maybe 1 turn sooner.
Before you do that, a Christo is going to make a legendary action at the end of Drell's turn, and he's going to shoot a sunburst at it. Are you considered incapacitated?
Yes.
So make me a Constitution saving throw, yeah, as it tries to burn away your frozen tomb.
I got a 17.
So you fail. You're going to take this full 12d6 to the face, 54 points of radiant damage to the tomb of Leviticus.
Light work.
Got it.
As we move to Minnis' turn, as you already fell 500 feet, and so you would like to take an action to try to propel yourself forward. Each one of these squares is 50 feet.
Right. Throughout my turns, I'm wondering if I could have been using my action, which would have been 100 feet each turn. Maybe if I roll something to pass a check, maybe I could get through with a little extra oomph.
Yes, you would have. You would have definitely shaved the turn off if you have been moving because of your fly speed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't even have to roll for it?
No,
That's helpful.
I'll allow you to do that. As you fly out and you leave Drell in the dust,
Wait, Minnis.
Key in a sack.
you fly out Armos, you see in your tomb, your eyes shift over, and Reginald's eyes shift over, as from a tiny hole from the crystal's moon-like surface, you see Minnis coming out, flying past you. As Minnis, you land on this Bloodshard Island in the middle of the Astral Sea. You see all around you purple energy mixed in with the darkness, with these red clouds as you look off into the distance, as you see the world of Humbrea completely covered in red and black smoke-like clouds. You see this blue energy emanating from this crystal-like moon that is giving off this immense pressure of not only evil, but power. You're getting this solid source of knowledge all contained into this one point. And as the two of you are now outside, you only realize that where you came from, you were in the realm of Bayloon, and the realm of Bayloon was contained inside of this fake phylactery moon. As you are now standing on this Bloodshard Island in the middle of the Astral Sea, your movement is used, but it is your turn if you like to take an action, as you are on this Bloodshard Island. Next turn, you do have a movement speed that is quadrupled.
Okay. So I can just fly 200 feet every single turn.
Oh, Minnis, specifically you, as you enter the Astral Sea and you start to look at it, you start to understand where you are. You no longer need food, drink. You don't even need to breathe, as the Astral Sea does not require these things. As it is its own plane, you are broken free from the confines of Bayloon. All the Sids that you had the knowledge of, that you were able to see within the Vault of Life, as you were able to see through the eyes of Sid of the Hellfire, as you were able to see through your main Sid and the Throne of Creation, as you look out to Humbrea, you feel this surge of spark and hope as you are suddenly reconnected to all of your Sids. Each Sid that you have given out or has joined somebody through your adventures, every Sid that you left behind, every single Sid you feel, and you feel like you're connected to each one of them. And if you wanted to, you can tap into any of those Sids and you get a flood of visions through you from hundreds of Sids that you have left behind of various scenarios. You are seeing Sids that are fighting alongside of Aramore's soldiers as they are fighting hordes of demons pouring out of the Red City. You are seeing the Sids from the Shadow Smugglers inside the Red City as they are successfully fending off demons and making a powerful impact from the inside. You are seeing the Kingdom of Aramore, the Castle of Aramore, fending off, protecting its citizens. You see a Sid next to Miranor fighting demons as they are trying to attack the Ivory Boulder clan, and you see a strong troop of your tribesmen fighting off these demons successfully. Although they look wounded, they look like they are pushing back. Then you also see scenes of horror as some of these smaller towns are being overrun. You are getting these scenes from the Ashbourne Mountains as it looks like the demons have made their way into North Trillis, but you're getting these visions of fear and loss alongside these visions of hope and triumph. And all of these visions flash into you, and you're getting these mixed signals, but the world of Humbrea is fighting back against the onslaught of a Crystal's horde. Now that you have regained the connection back to Humbrea, as you see the world of Humbrea deep in the distance on the astral plane horizon.
Yeah, Minnis superhero lands onto the rock, of course. And the enlarge wears off at this point as he's been going through those 4 rounds. And he kind of falls into normal Minnis size, slightly bulkier with just all the branches and stuff of the nature spirit that he's turned into. Sids everywhere. Thank you. We will finish it up here. As I shout into the void.
As you roar, as you feel like they heard you, and you see through one of the visions of like all these soldiers who are in the middle of clashing. As you see these Sids all point up to the sky, you see all these soldiers also look up where the Sids are pointing, and it looks like they're pantomiming something. They're pantomiming that they hear you. Are you casting any spells? You see a floating Armos in a tomb of ice.
I might as well cast first level healing word on myself as I get in here. Why not?
Sure. Cast Healing Word.
Just to give myself a little health going back into this.
As we move to initiative 20, which is Armos, and a lair action. As a legendary action does not happen at the end of your turn.
Armos' ice around him slowly begins to thaw as he looks around and gets a good glimpse of Minnis and needs to get the information out right away. Use your sling! Make sure Drell knows as well. So yeah, that's all I got.
As we stay on initiative 20, you see the moon begins to glow this blue as lightning begins to course through its prismatic shell as you feel it regain something. As we move to initiative 16, Drell, as you are now launched.
Ow.
As you land on this floating island, this floating bloodshard in the middle of the astral sea.
Oh my god.
As you see your world of Umbrea in the distance, covered in this red cloud and black smoke as the moon eclipses it from the sun, and you see this giant phylactery moon, and you hear the words echo in your mind.
Impossible. But I will claim you as worthy trophies. You will always be remembered within me, but no one will remember you.
So, your movement is used up for this turn because you fell through and landed here, but you still have your action.
200 feet away. I don't think I can do anything really with that. Ah, man, this is the life of a melee, I guess.
You could action like dash though.
Yeah, let's do that then. So I'm just gonna use dash action and I'm gonna move 180 feet towards the moon. So I'm almost caught up to Armos, and as I get closer, I see Armos is like, just coming out of the state that he was in, and I say, so I take it we're killing this big moon, right?
Yeah, and you just see Armos just bloodied as he's coming. The ice liquid and his blood are just running like all over the place, which emphasizes how messed up he is.
Reginald throws up and you just see the vomit float in place as it just like coagulates.
Oh god.
I'll do what you want, Drell.
Make sure to use your axe.
At the end of your turn, Drell, you see this massive meteor form in front of you from the Bloodshard moon, and you see that it goes from blue to red.
Ooh.
As a crystal casts meteor swarm.
Oh my goodness.
You're gonna make me a dexterity saving throw
I can take it.
of a DC 20.
How about a nat 20?
Oh, a nat 20 works.
Another one.
I haven't even gotten one with all this advantage.
I mean, I don't know what you're doing, Minnis.
I'm thinking too hard.
You're gonna take half damage here. Now, half of this damage is half fire and half magical bludgeoning. You're gonna take half of 132 points of damage. As you take this 9th level meteor swarm, not to the face because you dodged it, as this meteor comes.
Oh, this guy's got a token for the meteor.
Of course he does.
As it explodes. Yes. Welcome to the Acristo fight, gentlemen. Now we get to fight Acristo.
Yeah.
For real. As we move to initiative 23, Minnis.
Sids, Melora, lend me your strength as I float near Armos and start slinging bullets.
Ooh, you guys get real close to this thing.
Nat 20.
Nice.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
You say it.
See, speaking it into fruition,
You
man.
shall receive.
Yep.
Nice.
Roll for damage.
Oh, and the next one is not as good. It's 20.
20. That's on the money, but he's going to cast Shield as a reaction.
So that's 26 points of force damage.
That is going to be doubled to 52 points of force damage as your spectral Sids, as they connect, they turn bigger, sharper, and they glow this brilliant blue. As you see as it lands on the moon, as it appears to be a speck, and you see a massive impact, as if a boulder slamming into soft ground, and it explodes as you see these little shards explode from the surface of this moon, and you hear this pain come from Acristo.
I will be recognized as one of the strongest of the gods your pitiful kind worships. I will show them how weak these beings that you praise to be gods. I am stronger than any god you have ever met, and I will prove it today, and I will make you relive this moment for eternity. For as long as I live and exist, you will live in torment.
And that's why you will lose today. Because in this battle, like you just said, you are only one of the strongest, but not the strongest. As I look at my friends, looking at Drell with his father's axe, finally bringing it to slay a Christo, and Armos bleeding almost on death's door.
I'm just leaned back, floating in the air, just giving you a thumbs up. Like,
Yeah.
way to stick it to the man.
To end my turn.
He's going to use a legendary action at the end of your turn, Minnis, and shoots one of these Balloon blasts at you with a 30 to hit, and it's going to deal 14 points of necrotic damage and 10 points of force damage.
Minnis stands there stoically as just chips of his shoulder fly off, and then a piece of his knee wood flies off.
As we move to initiative 20, which is Armos and the lair action, Armos, you get the first initiative.
Oh, thank Melora or whatever.
Light him up.
On my turn, I look at Minnis, give him a nod, and then just give the most energy I can while dwindling on no life. A 30 to hit, a 19. Energy's fading. 21 to hit,
Uses cast shield as a reaction.
This
and
guy.
a 22 to hit. Yep, it's only one. 16 damage,
16 is doubled.
and then I will cast Quicken Spell and cast Wall of Force on just myself.
Yes, absolutely. Use your sorcery points for your meta magic adept to use your quicken spell, which uses all of your charges, I believe.
Yes.
It's a bonus spell. Yes. As you put yourself in this cube, as you now need to concentrate.
It's immune to all damage.
As you cast Wall of Force, staying on initiative 20, which is a lair action, you see from the surface of the moon, as this blue energy begins to swirl and it seems to regain something, you see 6 Bloodshard meteors shoot from the surface of the moon.
Counter spell. No, I'm just kidding.
Counter Drell.
Yeah,
Right?
the new meta.
I don't know if it's a spell. It doesn't sound like it's a spell. Can I even? I don't know if I can. I don't have enough spell slots.
You see as 6 of these Bloodshard meteors begin to shoot from the surface, they begin to move. As they begin to move, they are moving 30 feet per turn as they are shooting forward, as they are heading in your direction.
Oh,
As they are spinning and moving really fast towards you, they are in your path, and there are 6 of them to try to cover as much space as possible. As we move to initiative 16, Drell.
am I able to try to avoid the comets by like moving south? Am I able to like float in that direction?
Yeah, so there's these Bloodshard meteors that are heading straight towards you.
Mm-hmm.
They are moving 30 feet per turn in a round. So this initiative is a turn, and then Minnis' turn will be a turn. So it's moving 30 feet per turn. They are heading in a straight line. So they're shooting out like projectiles. They're not like chasing you.
Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna float south to try to avoid the comets and move to like the left side of the moon. Okay, so then after I do that, then what I'd like to do is obviously take some swings at the moon with my axe. So the first attack is going to be a 19 to hit. The second attack is going to be a 23, and the last one is a 14. So the damage is going to be 21 damage.
As you connect to this huge landmass before you, your axe not only cleaves through the crystal surface, but leaves a large gash as you see the axe blast. The glass shell splinter all around as you're seeing this gleam of red energy shining through the cracks, as well as this electrifying power not only shot through the moon itself, but all the Bloodshard platforms around you. At the end of your turn, you see a beam of energy shoot from the gash that you attacked from, as you're going to make me a Constitution saving throw of a DC 20 as a burst of radiant energy shoots at you in a beam.
That is a 24.
You can take half of 41 points of radiant damage as you are hit with a brilliant burst in a beam as it shoots from the surface of the shard. At the end of Drell's turn, all of these move 30 feet forward. They head eastward. Armos, as this meteor heads right towards you with your wall of force, it makes an impact and explodes. Minnis and Drell, you see this large eruption as you feel the force of the exploding Bloodshard. Minnis, you're gonna make me a strength saving throw here to see if you're able to maintain your space floating.
It's gonna be pretty good. That's going to be a 19.
You pass. You needed a DC 15. You don't move. You shift in place, but the force of the explosion was enough to push you back and just like disorient you just a little bit if you didn't pass that saving throw, potentially knocking you into the line of sight of one of these other meteors launching forward. As we move to initiative 23, Minnis.
The first thing I do is I look through Dana's Sid. As I see Dana fighting and fending off demons below, Minnis says, Dana, lend me your speed. And he will go 400 feet to the northwest around this moon. As this like spatial gust of wind through the astral sea.
You have 100 feet of movement?
I do.
Wait, do you really have 100 feet of movement?
I do.
Oh my lord. You see Minnis like a shooting star.
Wow. That's crazy.
Use a bonus action mana potion to get a spell slot back.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to start slinging bullets into the back side of this moon.
As Minnis runs away, Minnis, you're supposed to heal. He's gone.
As Minnis is now eclipsed by a Christo.
All right. Oh, that might miss actually. 19.
Misses.
And 26. All right, that is going to be nice. That is going to be 25 points of force damage total as the SIDS are giving me some extra boom.
As you hit it, it deals 50 points of damage to the moon as it makes powerful eruptions as you begin to pepper the moon with your slingshots. We move to initiative 20, which is Armos and the lair action of Christo. What are you doing, Armos?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think I'm gonna Armor of Agathis, get 25 temporary hit points. Oh, as a bonus action, I have a mana potion that I'll use as well.
You drink a mana potion.
And I'll get that spell slot back. Woo! So basically, Armos at this point, he's just trying to stabilize himself from bleeding out. Just casting spells, drinking potions, and trying to bandage everything.
No, don't use the necrotic ones. Don't use the evil spell. You gotta use the good spells like Minnis has. We need the ones with where it puts the skin back together, Armos. What is it called? Karma Sutra?
Wait, you found that book? You shouldn't have. No, you shouldn't be reading that book. You're too young.
But is it not like putting bodies together?
And that's the end of my turn.
As the end of your turn, it goes to the lair action. As you see the moon, as it like always regains something every turn, you see it spin like in place rapidly, like it did a full rotation within its spot. As you see that a swirl of energy reconfigures into itself, as you see these other Bloodshard clusters begin to form out on all sides. You see one appears right next to Minnis as it's trying to defend. One appears on each corner of the moon. You see it spreads out in a circular motion, almost like as if it's setting up a barrier. And you see that these are now spinning around it in a circular rotation. So it's going to move in a circle and orbit around the moon. As we move to initiative 16, Drell.
Can I try to just hit the one right next to me?
Yes, you can.
But all right, dude, I'm rolling so bad today. 12.
It misses. But as you approach it, you see that the Bloodshard almost blinks and explodes the second you get next to it. You are going to take 65 points of magical piercing damage as this Bloodshard meteor-like bomb explodes as you get near it, as it's acting like a defense against you.
Drell instantly starts bleeding from the mouth and has wounds everywhere and just yells to the guys, probably want to stay away from these things. And then I'm going to just use my movement on this turn to take my last 2 attacks on the moon.
Yes, absolutely.
Back to plan A. That is a 24 to hit and a...
Actually, it's going to use a reaction as a shield wafts over it, boosting it up, its AC up to 25.
Okay, so 29 to hit.
That hits.
Nice.
As you break through that shield.
28 damage.
That is going to double And as you deal that 56 points of damage, you see as you leave this nasty scar across the surface, that energy begins to pulsate from inside the moon as you see that the surface rumbles like water. And you see this dark pulse of energy as you're now starting to see the insides of the moon from your axe attacks.
What is that?
As the moon begins to bleed into the astral sea.
I would also like to use a bonus action. I have to use a bonus action with my last potion of supreme healing. Okay, I give back 44 HP.
Good time to get it back. As the moon begins to bleed at the end of your turn, it is going to take a mythic action.
What the fuck?
Oh boy, first time ever.
All three of you are going to make me a dexterity saving throw, except Armos of a DC 24.
A dexterity saving throw?
Of a DC 24.
Fuck, dude.
I'm gonna use an inspiration die.
I have to roll a nat 20.
Do you really?
I have to roll a nat 20, yeah.
I would have had to as well.
Even with my inspiration die, I still failed. With
that
an 18.
As this cosmic swirl of energy blasts around you.
What?
In a 100-foot radius all around the moon, Armos, you see from inside the wall of force this swirl of energy. Drell and Minnis, you are going to take 22 points of acid damage, 22 points of cold damage, 22 points of fire damage, and 22 points of lightning damage.
Okay, well, you didn't even let me tell you what I rolled. You just kinda...
Oh, my bad. I thought you said you failed. I'm sorry. What did you roll?
Well, I rolled a 12. And then I got Indomitable, so I'm gonna fucking use that. So that's a 17. I'm gonna use a luck point.
Or, I don't know if it'll matter, but we both do have absorb elements, just saying.
Oh yeah, can I use absorb elements?
Which element would you like to absorb?
All of them.
You could choose one.
Okay, well, we got to math this out because Drell has 64 HP. So we're going to have to do some real quick math on this. All right, so 88 points of damage. So Drell is resistant to frost or cold damage. So I'm going to take half of that, right?
Yep, so it's going to be 21 points of cold.
21 points of cold damage. So we're going to leave that. So can I absorb elements more than one?
No.
Okay.
So you'll be saving 22 points of damage total.
Which
Cold
doesn't
resistance
help
and
me.
your...
Because that's 64 on the dot then. You know that's 66, so I still don't have it. Hold on, I think I have plan B. Give me a sec.
All right, Minnis is going to use his reaction, though.
Yeah, you go first.
Minnis is going to use his swarm dispersal.
Okay.
And teleport 30 feet away and become resistant to all that damage, which is very helpful right now.
So that knocks it down to 44 points of damage as you use reaction to burst into these tiny sin meteors.
Not good.
As the moon is glowing red, as you see cracks across its surface, you feel the immense pressure and anger.
Instead of using absorb elements, I am going to use Stone's Endurance.
Oh,
Which,
yes.
as a reaction, I can reduce damage dealt by 1d12 plus 5. So I need to roll trying to think quick math for the audience. So I'm going to take the full 11 cold. I'm going to take the full lightning. I'm going to take the full poison.
Acid?
Or acid, yeah. I'm going to try to stone endurance fire. So it's 22, right? So I need to roll a 14 or better on this.
How you gonna roll 14 or better on a d12?
Well, because I have plus 5.
Oh, okay.
So I need to roll a 9 or better.
Easiest roll of your whole campaign, right? Oh, dude.
I'm going to use the luck point. I rolled the 1.
Oh, God.
That's the best one. It's the best one of the whole campaign.
That hurt my soul.
Okay, here we go.
Give one more luck point.
This is my last one, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's a 7.
Drell, you go down as you are blasted with a crystal's pulse of hatred. As you are singed with this cosmic force of energy. And at the end of your turn, well, this is during the end of your turn, you're going to make me a death saving throw. The mythic action and legendary actions happen at the end of your turn, but death saving throws also happen during that same phase. So you would roll it now.
It's a good thing because then you're gonna get back up.
Oh yeah, nat 20.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 11.
Pass. As you check off one of the successes in your boxes, we're going to move to initiative 23. Minnis, on your initiative, you notice that all these just make a full pass and they move into the next location as they're swirling
Yeah.
around the moon.
Oh.
You also notice, Armos, from your perspective,
Yeah.
you see as a blue stream of energy connects from the moon from Drell's body as his soul is leaving his mortal coil, being taken from him. Minnis, what are you doing?
All right. Well, first things first, I'm going to move 400 feet to the southwest, getting closer to Drell. Need to save Drell, Sid.
You hear Christo echo out within your mind as he begins to take Drell's soul as he yells,
Succumb to your new god.
I suppose the best thing I can do for myself right now is kill myself, because I need to make sure I can get to Drell. Because if I don't get to Drell, I don't think Armos is healing anyone.
how could Drell get the Drell?
Drell can't get to Drell.
Uh-oh.
So I'm going to cast a 4th level Cure Wounds on myself, healing as much as possible. And I don't think any of my bonus actions help me here. Yeah, there's nothing else I can do, so I'm sitting tight as I'm rushing towards Drell.
As you end your turn, we're going to move to initiative 20, which is Lair Action and Armos. Armos, inside your wall of force, as your sight begins to come back to you from this vicious cosmic swirl of power, you see Drell floating in space as he is tethered to the moon, as you see his soul begin to leave his body slowly.
Armos is so badly broken at this point. He's just trying to prepare before he drops this spell. So how far away is Drell from me?
210 feet.
Knowing that I can't get to him anytime soon and I see Minnis on the approach, I am just gonna use my restorative ointment.
How many more? This has to be like your last charge. I believe you got 4 uses, right?
5?
And you already used 2.
I have one more after this. So that's my action. For a bonus action, I will go invisible.
You disappear.
Just to blend in with this incredibly opaque force wall around me. But that is my turn as I kind of prepare for this wall to come down.
As we stay on initiative 20, the lair action, you see the moon spins again in place as it regains some of this magic within it. During the lair action, you see that the stream of energy, you see this large ball within the tethered spirit almost like go towards him as if it just absorbed a large chunk of his life. Drell, you take 1 failed deficit as he is sapping your life away.
That's not good.
As we move to initiative 16, which is Drell. Listen, best case scenario, you roll a nat 20. Worst case scenario, you roll a nat 1.
So right now he has one.
1 and 1. And on a critical, you get 2 of one or the other.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if he rolls a nat 1.
Oh.
But I'm not going to. Here we go.
True.
That's a 12.
Oh my god, bro.
You pass.
See? Gotta speak that shit into fruition, dog.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared.
No, definitely not. That might have been the most tense I got all campaign.
Hey, I got faith. I got faith. I had 2 Indomitables, so I could have tried to re-roll those.
Hey, listen, my butthole was clenched too, boys, okay?
That's right. It does count as a saving throw. All right. Medic inbound.
You hear words reverberate
Soon.
as we move to initiative 23 minutes.
I'm gonna fly right over to Drell, and I'm gonna look at Sibley through Sibley's eyes as Ghibli is now. What does Ghibli look like now as he's been training with Kara?
As you look through Sibley's eyes, you see in Riverwood Forest fighting this large demon as it chucks a spear through where its heart should be. As it falls to the ground, you see a tall, very muscular Kuatoa as he pulls a steel spear right out of the demon's chest as he looks over the distance as you get this amazing side profile, and you see that he has a red bandana over his forehead as the tail shreds glisten in the wind as he looks like he's looking over, and you see like he's wearing like these tribal shark tooth necklace, and he has like all these tattoos now tatted onto his body as you see he's looking towards another demon and hops away towards it.
It's metal.
May the forest cry for Drell, as I borrow some of the force energy as I blast a 5th level Cure Wounds into Drell's heart.
5th level? How much are you healing him for?
57 points of health.
Hell yeah.
As he remembers the drop of the forest that they used back in Arc 1.
Drell, you are healed as the tether is broken between you and the moon. You feel drained.
Thanks, Minnis.
I've got you. Now bonus action, writhe my tide more.
What the fuck? As at the end of your turn, Crystal's going to make a legendary action as he's going to shoot you with a blasty blast of 22 to hit, Minnis. An astounding 18 points of force damage, an additional 15 points of necrotic damage. Wow, he rolled really high on that. As we move to initiative 20, which is Acristo and Armos. Armos, you see that on your turn that the Bloodshard swarm that is circling the moon is about to hit your 2 teammates.
Armos is going to drop the shield. So I'm going to move 120 south, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And then he's going to cast... I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put Wall of Force as a line so that it blows up before it gets to them.
Or is it gonna get exploded?
As the Bloodshard meteors are spinning around and about to hit Drell and Minnis, I throw the wall in front of it in a line to absorb the damage.
Staying on initiative 20, the meteors make a full rotation as it explodes, and Minnis, as you deliver that shocking bolt of life back into Drell, you see this like meteor coming at you and almost had put up this wall of force, and it explodes as you watch from a very close but safe distance as this immense pressure blows through the wall of force, leaving you safe as all the other shards begin to rotate and take the other one's place as they are making a full orbit. You see the moon rotates again, regains something, and then is going to move to initiative 16, which is Drell.
I'm gonna look at Minnis and just say, thanks, buddy. I appreciate the assist. Now let's just get this done, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll turn to the moon and I'm going to take 3 attacks. That's a dirty 20.
It's going to use a reaction and raise its AC to 25 as it casts a shield on itself.
Okay. 26. I'm also going to use a bonus action to move my +3 from my AC to my attack. So now I'm going to use that. So with that, so I rolled a 23, but then I have the +3. So that is a 26 to hit as well. Cool. Okay. So 2 out of 3 of my attacks hit. I'm also going to use one of my superiority die to make one of my attacks a menacing attack. That means people get advantage, or sorry, I think I want to do distracting. Yeah, because I figure I can't frighten this thing, so I'm just going to use the distracting strike instead. So that means people can get advantage on it. So that is going to be 60 damage.
That is going to double to 120 points of damage as you leave devastating cracks and holes in its crystal surface, and you hear a visceral yell, a shriek of pain as the moon heartbeat contracts within itself and expands again. As the yell reverberates through the astral sea, Minnis, you're getting all these visions of demons holding their head in Humbrea, screaming in pain, and you see that all their eyes light up red as blood begins to drool viciously from their mouths. Armos, you look at Reginald, and Reginald is holding his head as his eyes are shifting between red and blue as he's trying to maintain his own free will and concentration. He's like, his eyes are like twitching in place.
Armos, bring it home. And that's going to be the end of my turn.
As it's going to take a legendary action at the end of your turn, and it's going to use... You see that as a swirl of fire begins to form around you, Drell. Drell, you're going to make me a Constitution saving throw of a DC 20 as a storm of fire surrounds you.
Oh, God. 23.
You pass, and you're gonna take half this damage. You're gonna take half of 45 points of fire damage as a swirl of fire circles around you.
I'd also like to use an absorb elements.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Minnis. I don't know if Drell says that out loud, but he definitely thinks it as he's absorbing the elements.
As you move to initiative 23, Minnis.
Minnis looks through the eyes of Siddle, we'll call him, as Rommel is protecting the forest somewhere as well.
You see Rommel, one with the trees. As you see, just a face appears as this giant gargantuan tree smacks down with one of its mighty birches onto one of these demons, splatting it in place. As you oversee, you see that the tree itself is overlooking Riverwood Forest. Matter of fact, you're walking through the world tree where the Riverwood temple was resting underneath. As you see that there are hordes of demons trying to get in the forest, and the forest is defending itself, whether through trees, through the Koatoas, or those that have vowed to protect it.
We can't lose you yet, Drell, as I use a 3rd level healing word as a bonus action to give him 17 points of health.
Nice.
And I'm going to make some attacks at the moon. That's going to be a nat 20.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, goodness.
Make sure you're rolling advantage then.
Well, I already have advantage.
Oh, sorry.
So, Armos will get the advantage, though. And 20 to hit.
That hits.
That's 40 points of force damage total.
That is going to be doubled as you continue to pepper. As these shots, as they're getting closer, they're like doubling in speed like missiles. As you hear more pain and you see blood spewing from various cracks as this radiant energy begins to shine through. As a matter of fact, through the cracks of its crystalline surface, you see on the other side the sun that it was eclipsing deep in the distance begin to shine through. As we move to initiative 20, which is Armos.
Since I get advantage, I'm going to Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, take advantage of that advantage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dog.
So I was kind of floating to the south. I hear Drell shout out to me. I stop in place and start charging up my lasers as I unleash whatever I can at this moon. All right, first one's an 18. It's not
That misses.
31.
Hits.
It's a 15.
Misses.
Wow.
And then a 24. I get 2 hits, and then after the damage comes out, it's a 13 and a 14.
Doubling. You are lobbing these purified Eldritch blasts as they are exploding on the surface of the moon.
To see one of my own prophets turn against me, despite the gifts I've blessed you with.
As a prophet, I can see your future, and it's not great.
I am the future!
And you hear it yell. It's so angry. It is reverberating with hatred. You feel this darkness fill your body for a moment as you feel like all the possibilities of your future if he actually won here and completely controlled everything as he's destroying the astral sea and everything in the universe slowly, one world at a time. And you see a bleak vision and it leaves you sorrowful for just a brief moment. His words just shine that little bit of truth, that little bit of doubt for just a small second.
Is this you being desperate? Are you trying to play on my feelings? As that's happening, I kind of float. Now me, Drell, and Minnis are kind of in a line.
We're a scalene triangle right now.
Yeah. There you go.
At the end of your turn, it's going to make an attack against you as you see that it makes this burst of energy, Armos, as it can see you. With a 19 to hit, that's going to be 33 points of damage. 19 of that is force, 12 of that is necrotic. You're going to make me a constitution check here. A concentration check here.
Oh, God of 5, so 11?
You fell as the wall of force drops. Is there anything you would like to use? Because next turn is going to hurt.
You already used your inspiration die, right?
Oh, I didn't!
Oh my god, I still have mine too.
Oh. I rolled a 2.
As your inspiration falters, as that brief moment of doubt does cloud your mind and heart for a moment, as Reginald feels disconnected from you, your wall of force goes down. As we stay on initiative 20, the comets make a full rotation as they bounce into both Drell and Minnis. Both of you are going to make me a dexterity saving throw here.
Of
Of a DC 15.
21.
So Drell, the reason why you didn't have to make this last time is because you willingly attacked it.
yeah, and I'll do it again.
And I'll do it again.
Do I
with
want
advantage?
to use an indomitable? Oh, I do get to make those with advantage. Good job, Dan. Thank you so much.
Barbarian stuff.
Doesn't help.
Minnis, you pass. Drell, you're going to take 43 points of damage here. It's magical piercing damage as this explodes on impact as you fail your dexterity saving throw. Minnis, you're going to take half that. There are still 3 more of these meteors swirling around the moon, acting as a natural defense to it. A mind field. As you see that the moon finishes its lair action, as it looks like it regains something, as you feel this energy coursing through the surface. And you're seeing what you're seeing now that like a large chunk of its surface is being destroyed from your attacks. You're seeing this blue lightning streaks going through each of these like red and blue crystals as it's like surging, almost like a muscle tensing. It's like as if a defibrillator is meeting a muscle for the first time as it regains this power and going to move to initiative 16. Drell.
So what I want to do is I want to use my full movement. I want to move far enough away from Minnis and Armos back kind of the direction we came. So the next meteor, like I'm in the space where the meteor that just exploded would have been next turn. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be like in that empty dead space, like to the like northeast of us.
Yeah, you're trying to follow its path so it doesn't hit you and you're
Yeah.
moving along.
But I want to stay in distance enough where like if Minnis or Armos shout to me, I can still hear them. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So you're going to be moving 180 feet.
And then I'm going to take a series of attacks. Come on, Drell, give me some good rolls, man. That is a 22 to hit.
Hits.
Okay.
Oh, reaction.
I was waiting for it.
You see this storm and wall of blood shards take its space as you slash its shield that it created for itself.
All right. Got that out of the way. An 18 to hit is the next one. Oh my God, I'm rolling so fast. There we go. 31. And then I will bonus action go into a rage. Gonna use my second rage token. I'm gonna use my last superiority die to make it another distracting strike. Oh my God, dude, I've never rolled so low and so long of damage. That is only gonna be 30 damage.
That is going to double to 60 points of damage as you slash across the surface, as you are now seeing large canyons form from your physical attacks, from Armos's Eldritch Blasts and Minnis' slings. This thing looks heavily cratered. Its once smooth crystalline surface now looks like a battered battlefield, as if it's been attacked with years worth of cannon shots. This thing looks incredibly bruised, and it is bleeding through the wounds that you've created on its surface. And with each shot, its agonizing scream grows louder and louder. As we end your turn, it's going to take a legendary action, and you see this giant beam of radiant light shoot towards you. You're going to make me a Constitution saving throw of a DC 20.
I'm gonna have to use one of my indomitables because I rolled the 15, but that's better. A 23.
You're going to take half of 36 points of radiant damage as this beam of radiant energy shoots like a laser.
Okay, well, good thing I used that indomitable because
I think you're using him as the Lord intended, saving your life.
it's 18 points damage. Oh my God.
As we move to initiative 23, Minnis.
You see Minnis kind of float back towards Armos, and his spirit form goes away.
Oh, God.
Armos, I can only hold that stuff on for so long. You gotta keep going on for me, okay, man? And I'm gonna give him a level 6 Cure Wounds.
6?
You get 62 points of health back.
Oh my God, that changes so many things.
Nice.
I was counting my days. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing bright pastures in my my future.
We gotta keep following Drell, okay? I'll see you over there. And I zoom over towards Drell. Well, past him, actually.
As he leaves, I'm like, what? I'm fine.
As you zoom away, feeling so proud of yourself, or like you feel accomplished, you see as this one of these red bursts shoot from the moon towards Armos, hitting him for a 16 to hit.
I'm gonna use shield.
Shield.
Yeah, screw that blast.
As you cast shield and it deflects it as we move to initiative 20, which is Armos, and you see this moon in the sky dripping, oozing blood, a waterfall in space as the blood seeps into the astral sea and begins to blur within the spectral space around you.
Okay. I think I'm gonna. Oh, I want this to work so bad. I can't. I just don't know. I don't know. Armos has a trick in his back pocket, but he's scared to just use it just yet. He thinks it might be a little too soon, so he's gonna cast something he's never casted before. Before he does it, he's going to move in the direction of Minnis, trying to keep up. He starts floating in that direction, looking at the moon, starting to do a bunch of hand gestures, and then you speak a word that can overwhelm the mind of one creature you can see within range, leaving it dumbfounded. If the target has 150 HP or fewer, it is stunned. Power word stun, which might not work, but I want to. The whole reason I'm curious is if
There's a power word stun.
there is.
Surprised you took this one.
I know that it probably won't work. I'm just curious how.
I hope he's searching for something to stop this, because it's not a saving throw to start. It literally just happens.
It just happens. Yeah, there's no saving throw.
What's the word you speak?
Ooh.
Yeah, what's the word you say?
Vengeance!
You hear Crystal answer back, "Your vengeance will fall." No way. As you see the moon stop rotating, and you see all the islands shift in place as a Christo is stunned.
So excited. So excited.
As power word stun goes off, a stunned creature is incapacitated. It automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws, and attack rolls you have against it have advantage. What else are you doing on your turn?
I am gearing up for my next turn. You already see me starting to.
I don't know if you'll have a next turn looking towards Drell.
I already know what my next turn is going to be, and I'm starting the ritual, the cantation, the hand gestures, increasing power, and you already hear me sounding like a Super Saiyan going, just freaking out.
Did you see Armos throwing up Naruto gang signs?
Yeah.
Damn, Armos. That is so
I'm
crazy.
flipping through my book, ready, and got to the last page, and you see me ready to go.
You
So
were
that would be-
sitting on that too.
You see Reginald looks at you, Armos, and you see for the first time a gleam of hope within his eyes, almost as a sigh of relief whispers through his bunny-like whiskers.
We got this, Armos. We got this. I'm gonna be free.
Damn right you are. Now get ready.
You see he sharply looks at a Christo towards the large, stunned, bleeding moon in the astral sea. As we move to initiative 16, taking no legendary action here, Drell.
Okay. I'm going to swing away. I think he's just going to say, "I knew he could do it." And that is going to be, the first one is a 26 to hit. The second one is going to be a 27 to hit. And the last one is going to be a 27 to hit.
Hits.
That is going to be 98 damage.
98 damage, doubling to a whopping 196 points of damage. As you land on the surface of the moon, as both feet plant on its crystal surface, as you start to hack away. As each attack causes a tremorous earthquake through the moon, Minnis and Armos, you are seeing cracks splinter out throughout the entire moon. As the spot that Drell is sitting in is getting deeper and deeper as he's forming a crater under his own feet from his strong, vicious, violent attacks. As we move to initiative 23 minutes.
Minnis lands straight on the moon, smack dab in the middle of the moon. All right, Laura, please lend me your strength one more time. As he turns into Trimus form, one last time and slams down Julius's mace right into the rock of the moon. Take Julius back with you, and pushes himself off 100 feet away from the moon. And as he's pushing himself off from the moon, is going to slam 2 final sling bullets into the center of this moon, which is good. That's an ad pumpkin.
Nice.
There we go. There we
25.
go.
As you continue to shoot these miniature cannon shots on the moon, as they begin to explode around Drell, who is still hammering away with his axe.
Oh god.
It's like,
And as they float back, Minnis closes his eyes and leans his head back and looks for Sidonor.
you see Miranor, still with his arm heavily wounded. He is holding a giant battle axe, a great axe with one hand, and he is slashing away at various demons on the outskirts of your tribe, as he is keeping demons at bay with his other tribesmen, as he looks like he is holding them back, and there is a field of demonic corpses bleeding into the grassy field.
This is great cardio.
And he's like, cuts one in half. And you hear this bull-like noise. I could do this all day.
I smile as it shifts over to Armos.
You were always there, smirking behind Reginald's eyes, feeding on my rage, my grief, and my needs. Every shard I absorbed, every soul I bound, my tome gave them to you. Those souls no longer dormant. They are whispering now. They are shouting, and through me, they are screaming at you. I'm not just Armos. I'm every death you fed on. I am the rage you left behind, and I am the storm you thought would never come. Look around you. These souls will not go out without a fight. One by one, they're channeling everything they have into me. Every word they speak is beginning to punch through the walls of this realm like a war drum. Their chants are getting louder and louder until one word rises above the rest. Armos screams out, "Layla!" A name, a memory, a promise. The true trigger, forged in blood and bonded to a spell that has been held back for too long. And then, silence. Do you hear them? The ones you fed on? They're screaming through me, at you. And then the screaming returns, louder than before, the deafening crescendo of 1,000 souls demanding justice. Armos raises his hand, the tome ignites into flames, the world recoils, and with all the fury this plane can carry, Armos casts Power Word Kill.
You cast this spell as the gem begins to shine within your tome. As you cast Power Word Kill with your speech, you see that the gem cracks in place. Almost in sync with Drell's and Minnis's, you see your gems crack. And rather than a large, loud explosion, you see the moon crack into what seems about to disperse into thousands of shards, millions of shards. And rather than a loud, booming explosion, you hear nothing but a hushed whisper.
A crystal for never, power forgotten.
And you see this bluish, tealish moon completely shatter, turning bright, brilliant red as shards begin to fall and begin to displace, as the form of the moon is now losing its integrity and slowly drifting apart as it looks like it's falling and dissolving. All the bloodshots furthest away from its origin begin to dissolve first. Minnis, you're getting all these visions through your mind back in Humbray of all these demons suddenly disappearing into a blood-like dust as they seep into the ground. All these blood shards slowly dissipating into the air as you're seeing demons just fall into the earth and being absorbed as if the blood shards were never there. And you see the platforms that you three are standing on slowly disappearing as the three of you are knocked back with extreme force back onto one of these blood shard islands that are disappearing as you tumble and catch yourself bouncing high throughout the astral sea, catching yourself as the three of you land on your butts looking at the falling, destroyed moon. A Christo, his phylactery has been slain. As the three of you stare at this brilliant sight with a huge sigh of relief, Christo is dead.
I think we did it. We did it. Who's gone? Armos, he's gone.
As Minnis hits the dirt and the gravel and the whatever this platform is, Trimis form explodes away, and Minnis is back into his own form in this crater, just breathing. Oh my god.
You see Reginald falls off your shoulder, falls onto his back, and looking up, breathing heavily, he goes, as it slowly comes down, as you finally feel Reginald relaxed for the first time.
I no longer feel his presence.
Oh, you earned your 8th wing today, Reginald.
As you get up, you look over to the Umbrea way in the distance, miles and miles and miles away. And you see that the dark red clouds with the black smog begin to lift and fade as sunlight shine through the broken shards of the moon that hang overhead, this false moon finally shedding daylight onto Umbrea in the first time in 2 years. As you realize you were inside Bayloon much longer than you have realized. A lot of time has passed since you were in there, and the war in Umbrea had raged on. While you were fighting a Christo from the inside out, the world had aged a full year. As time seemed to blink for you, it turned on its own without you. And you are still on this Bloodshard Island that is slowly disappearing beneath your feet as the moon begins to dissolve itself. What are the three of you doing as you are now looking at a saved Umbrea?
I look at Reginald and say, that silence you hear, it's the absence. There's no more whispers, no more chains, no more leeching in the darkness. I think we did it.
It feels good.
You see that Reginald's ears begin to fade as his ears turn to this red bloodshard dust.
Reginald, no. What are you doing? What's happening?
Because I'm just relaxing. I'm finally enjoying the freedom.
As you see, like, Reginald gets up and, like, looks around. He goes,
It's over. I don't have to answer to him anymore. It's all over.
What's happening? I don't understand.
Over. Finally over.
you see he looks out into the astral sea and he sees like everything that he has helped as you start to see that he like slowly fades.
Like, you three need to get home. I'm gonna help you get there.
Wait, no, you're coming with us. Why? What do you mean?
I'm not coming with you.
Oh, don't talk like that, Reginald. We're friends for life, okay? As I get up out of the crater and crawl out.
No, Minnis, we're friends forever.
See, he like looks up at you and he stares back out into the astral sea.
Yeah, you're right about that, Reginald. Bestest friends.
I'm gonna do what Ritzkulak did, except I have a tether to the material plane.
And you see that like he takes one of his bunny paws and he slashes the air in front of him, space, and he creates this portal. And on the other side, you see, with the help of Bowden, a portal appear to Lord Baron's Divider, back in the destroyed bullpen, in the spot where he was purified.
I'm glad I still have a connection to this place. I didn't think it would still be here by the time I needed it.
You're coming with us. What do you mean? You could just come in the portal with us. You don't have to. What? I don't understand.
You look at Reginald and he puts his paw up. And you see his claws, his bunny-like claws are sticking out. And you see more of his ears are disappearing. He goes,
I'm him, Armos. If I'm here, that means he's still here. When he goes, I go. We knew this.
No, we didn't. We did not know this.
We did know this.
There's gotta be another way. I start flipping through my book.
you look through the end to your pact you made with Reginald, and you see that the pact is no longer glowing. It has been fulfilled, as you no longer feel a connection to Reginald. As a matter of fact, a lot of your spells that you would get through your warlock abilities, you feel a disconnect from. You still have access to cantrips, your basic spells, and any spells you learn through your adventure, but anything that you learn through the Pact of the Fiend and your Eldritch Blast no longer is accessible to you, as you are no longer have this bond with Reginald, as he has fulfilled the pact. You two have reached the end of your agreement, and your power is no longer being borrowed.
Look, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna sign this, and then you're gonna get some of my power, and then you'll be able to come with us. I'm pretty sure. Hang on, I gotta think of a way to incantations.
You see he hops like a bunny onto your book in between the pages to stop you from falling, and the pages crumple beneath his feet as he lands on the book mid-turn.
Armos, listen to me. I am made of him.
And you see that like he holds out his arm as his paw begins to turn to Bloodshard and then slowly disappear.
I only exist because he exists. I can only ever exist if he is still here. The world is better without him here. And if that means I have to go away too, it is worth it because I am finally free.
When he says that, Minnis pulls out the 2 blood shards of Layla and Hubert Hubble.
You take out the 2 blood shards and you see that they are also slowly disappearing. But you see something else. You see a blue stream of light leave from them. As they ascend upward, they spiral into the astral sea. And then as you look out into the astral sea, you notice that there are millions of other streams of light coming from the center of Christo's exploding moon. In the middle of the phylactery, millions of single streams of blue light, similar to the tornado of souls that you saw back when you killed the false Hydra. All these souls are leaving and flowing to their proper resting place. And you look out to the world of Umbrea as you see that the red clouds are finally lifted, as you see thousands and thousands of similar streams of light leaving Umbrea itself, as all these souls begin to pass on to their rightful resting place. You're meeting the gods that they worshiped. They are going to the afterlife that they have believed in, and they are finally free. Any demon that was currently alive or trapped in a blood shard is finally free. And all the souls that Christo was actively devouring have been freed. You see that the blood shard of Layla and Hubert Hubble follow this same path.
I go over to Armos and I place the shards in his hand. I look at Reginald before speaking with Armos. Reginald, I'm gonna miss you so much. Don't go, please. And he gives Reginald a hug.
We miss you too, Minnis.
He hugs back.
We'll see each other again someday, right? Right?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I'll leave you with some of my best hay, all right? And I put some in his palm that's still good.
He looks at it and he smiles a bit.
And I look at Armos. I'll see you out there. I'll leave you 2 alone.
I think Drell walks up to Reginald and just gives him a good scratch and says, I'll see you later, buddy.
Yeah, Drell, thanks for showing me all those great workout tips. You really helped the gut, the gut health.
Just make sure you keep him up, okay, every day.
Yeah, look how much weight I'm losing right now.
No, you look
see
good.
like his stomach is disappearing as he gets like...
Yeah. Wow, really cutting the pounds.
Yeah, we gotta work the ladder muscles.
And Reginald looks up at Armos and then looks at the 2 of you. He's looking at like all 3 of you, like is he panning? He goes,
I never got that 8th wing, but I think I got 3 good ones right here,
You see a tear forming in Reginald's eye.
Since he's still like on the book, I push him aside and tear out the page that was our contract and kind of origami a wing for him. Armos is slowly realizing that there's nothing he can do to save him.
It's gonna fit.
You see he tries to put it in one of his wounds.
Oh, it's perfect. Glad I made the right choice. And I guess I'm sorry I put your uncle in sent him for suffering for all eternity, Minnis.
And he looks at you and he's talking about Pharaohs.
Yeah, I think we all played our role, and we're gonna miss you guys.
As he begins to
Fade away. Because I'll make sure I'll keep Layla company.
and you see that he completely dissolves into the astral sea as the island that you're on slowly becomes smaller and smaller, as all the blood shards begin to dissipate, as the stretches of the astral sea seem to become a lot lighter, as the evil presence is finally gone. And as you look around, as the moon finishes dissolving, the 3 of you step through the portal. As you lay 10 feet above the ground back in the bullpen, you crash onto the floor into this empty bullpen in Lord Baron's Divider.
Please don't tell me I take any damage.
As you look up, as the three of you land on the floor, you see this massive hole in the ceiling, the same one you fell through several arcs ago, where when you looked through the hole in the ceiling, you saw that moon. You now see nothing but a rising sun as the forever night finally turns to day. And the three of you lay there as you hear sounds. Somebody's here. Somebody's here. Somebody's here. And you see all these little heads pop up, all of these halflings, gnomes, wood elves, all these people in like various patchwork armor, cinch of college robes, wizard robes. And you see all these people come back. It's like, it's them! It's them! They're back! They're back! And you see that they cheer out, be like, hey, was it them? It's the moon's gone. And you look up, it's like, it's daylight! And everybody is cheering at the three of you as the three of you are laying prone on your back, looking up at the rising sun through the hole of Lord Baron's divider.
Minnis has his like left forearm over his eyes and is like sobbing, and he like can't handle all the emotions that are going through his body, from joy to hope to depression and sadness to hatred to like everything.
Armos is on all fours, just punching the ground, just full of rage and anger and sadness.
I think Drell is just on his back, and he looks up and sees the sun, and I think he just takes one big giant breath and just exhales of just full relief of like, we did it, you know? It's like, oh fuck, we actually did it.
I think probably the gnomes and halflings and all the people there have to pick Minnis up off the ground to get him up, and he's crying. He's like, I didn't think I was gonna make it out. I'm so happy to see you guys again. And he's hugging everybody and saying everybody's name and like give him high fives and hugging them and just crying and crying and crying.
As you are crying and all these emotions are spewing out, you hear a echoey piece of wood clink across the porcelain floor as you see Lord Baron comes out, and he looks a little bit older than the last time you saw him. And you're really seeing it in the way he walks, and his face is now aged. He still has this green gem around his neck that is glowing. Am I glad to see the three of you? Thank you isn't enough for what the three of you have done today. We thought you failed, but you have proved me wrong. You have proved us wrong.
Don't say anything. And I go hug his leg.
You hug his leg, and you see Kemi Joe is there, and he's wearing like this patchwork leather armor, and he's standing side by side with Lord Baron. He goes, it's okay. Rest easy.
Him and Kemi Joe are both crying, doing their 5-minute long handshake, secret handshake.
The three of you feel excruciatingly exhausted as now you are back from the astral sea. All of these wants and needs that the body craves all snap back to reality as you feel this immense hunger and this devastating exhaustion as the three of you are coming down from this adrenaline rush. And before you know it, the three of you are blacked out. You hear the faint mumbled words that sound like pudding. It's like, rest easy. We will take care of you, heroes. As you feel like you're carried off, then we are gonna do a bit of a time skip here. The three of you are out for 5 days as you are recouping from the extreme exhaustion, as you are each placed in your own beds. And after 5 days of sleeping, the three of you have finally come to. And the first thing the three of you do is eat a large meal that has been prepared for you in your room. Whatever foods you crave that they've come to learn is laid out like a buffet. And like an animal, the three of you attack this like 7-course meal, filling your empty stomachs as you feel like you haven't eaten in ages. And as you regain your strength, a total of 7 days have passed. And the three of you are now ready to finally head out into the world and return home. You haven't been able to hear much news because of your unconscious state. After you eat your meals and get ready, the three of you are within your own mind ready to face the world again and meet up with Lord Baron in his destroyed office. As you see like a large chunk of it reveals to like the outside world as the sun beats on his back, and you see that his back is to the sun and he's facing you as the three of you are sitting in his office, and he's letting you know everything that has happened in the last year that you were away and all the changes that happened to Humbrea while you were gone.
You see Minnis sipping on a cup of coffee. Oh man, I was so glad Novo's car came through right before. And he's just sipping on some coffee and joins Lord Baron in his office as he was requested.
He lets you know the state of Aramor. He lets you know the state of like the cities and the kingdom itself. He also like tells you that while you were away, the plague had spread into the north, into North Trillis. And although North Trillis was not too badly left off because cities fight for themselves up there, there is no like kingdom defense. Like the kingdom of Brim and North and the free folk all fight for themselves. Small towns across the continent of Trillis have all fell. Cities like Dilmore and Gilo are still standing, but they are struggling. Lucius Farm and Vineyard, the main food source for both the Kingdom of Brim and the Kingdom of Aramor, is completely eradicated. He lets you know, Minnis, that the Ivory Boulders is still standing despite casualties to the clan itself, and the Kambuki Isles, including Sanlo, are slowly coming back, as they were also affected. However, it seemed like he let you know that South Trillis was the main focus of Acristo's attack because he has attacked the Heartland in the past, and he had briefly attacked Sanlo. And because of Pharos' promise, Kambuki Isles was relatively left alone. He has also assured you that during your time when you were asleep, he had communications with the Queen of Aramor. She had let her know of everything that would happen, their dealings, and has acted as an advocate for the three of you and clearing your names. The three of you are no longer wanted by the Kingdom of Aramor because you were known as the Bloodshard Bandits, but rather you are now the saviors, and he has cleared your name within the kingdom.
Oh, thank God.
I have arranged transport for the three of you to head back to your homes, and I would imagine that Drell, you would like to go back to the Ashbourne, to your clan, and Minnis, you would like to return to the Ivory Boulders, but Armos, I do have transport for you, but there is no destination in mind because, well, it's come to my knowledge that your home was destroyed years ago. Thaylord no longer exists. And I ask that you're more than welcome to stay here, but if there's anywhere you would like to go.
Armos is kind of broken at this point. He thinks he has an idea and points to it on the map that's in front of him.
Are you pointing to my tribe? I can't see. Are you going to join us? I told you 5 days ago you could. I raise my eyebrows at him. And I get up on the stool and I see what he's actually pointing at.
Where it is a forest outside of the first town where we all met, which was Gilo.
We can arrange transport for Gilo. Absolutely. The city still stands, and, well, due to its high walls and favored location, it did somewhat well. And it would benefit from your presence. We'll make sure you get you there within the next few days. There's nothing that we can reward you with. There's nothing worthy of your achievements, but the Queen is definitely going to make a namesake day for the three of you. The day where the false moon fell from the sky and is going to most likely celebrate annually of this achievement. As the heroes of the kingdom, you deserve no less.
Goodness. Celebrate us. I don't really think I want that.
No, I mean, you guys were fighting for a year while we were gone. There's so many other people that deserve a namesake rather than the three of us.
Yeah, Drell's right.
We are still accounting the names of the fallen. The war was relentless, especially in the city of Stratham, where you see Lord Baron looks off to the side and he's taking a deep breath. He looks out to the destroyed wall behind him that overlooks into the Kingdom of Brim as it looks to the north side of South Trillis, and he goes, "It was all worth it, because without them and without you, everything would be gone." With your permission, I'll advocate as the ambassador for you three, as I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to talk to you. I know the Queen is going to want to summon you, as she already tried several times, but I kept the messengers at bay while you rested. And they're going to ask you questions. You're going to be visited by wizards and all scholars alike. They're going to want to know where you were, how it happened. They're going to want to know about this realm that you came to be, if he was a lich, what this new possible creature was, if there was more of him. But if you allow me, I'll act as that wall.
That works for me.
Well, I don't know about these guys, but I'm certainly happy to go to Aramor first. I know there's a lot to be discussed over there, and they need to know what happened, so.
We could arrange that.
It can't be a long trip for me, but I could go visit for a day or two.
I need to get home. I need to check on my tribe and make sure they're okay. They don't have the city's defenses up there. And then when the time comes, I'll meet and talk to whoever I need to, but at least right now I need to get home and check on my tribe.
Armos is in the back of the room and he kind of scoffs at the idea of standing in front of a bunch of people trying to explain everything after the sacrifices that the three of us made. He just shakes his head no, pacing back and forth, like eagerly wanting to get out of this conversation.
Well, it's goodbye for now, and a heartfelt thank you. In the events that you cannot reach me, Co-Counsel Joe Jofferson will be my next appointee. You can voice all concerns to him in my absence. He's referring to Kemi Joe. Your carriages are waiting outside. I'll speak to you soon. Please get some rest, and I hope where you want to go is nothing short than a relief and relaxed for you.
No time to rest here. There's still so much to do.
I agree. It's going to take a while to rebuild the kingdom, but we will rebuild the kingdom. And the three of you head to your carriages outside by the gates. As you see, there are three carriages waiting for you, each equipped with their own rider.
Minnis walks out with the guys and kind of takes a deep breath in. I don't think he's stepped outside much at all and has been helping everybody recoup in the castle this whole time. Mend wounds and help people heal, get back together. Thanks, guys.
Of course. We wouldn't have been able to do it without you, Minnis. And you, Armos.
No, thanks for accepting me. Thanks for believing in me. Nobody's ever done that. I don't have many words to describe how grateful I am to you two.
I mean, those people were dumb, Minnis, to not see the potential you had and the person you could be, man. So, of course, I mean, you guys are my best friends, and I'm glad you guys came into my life as well. And of course, this is not goodbye. It's just, we'll see you guys later.
Armos looks at Drell and he says, "You always ran towards the fight, no matter how bad it looked. You reminded me of what it took to stand your ground. Even though everything inside of me says burn it down, you don't owe this world anything, but it's better because you were in it." And then I look over at Minnis. "You never stopped seeing the good in people, even in me. You taught me how to keep going without letting me turn into something worse. If anyone can bring light into this world that's left, it's you. Just don't you ever fucking waste it on someone like me again." And he gives them a hug and walks away.
Oh my god, physical affection from Armos?
Yeah, I think Minnis literally sits there in shock that Armos initiated the hug. I feel like Drell and Minnis kind of watch him walk away and leave.
As Armos is walking away, Drell just yells, "Armos, just remember, it's always good to be a little fiery." And then he lets Armos walk away.
He smiles and walks away.
After Armos disappears, Minnis turns to Drell. "Hey, listen, I'm gonna be going to Aramore first. I'm just gonna hand all the papers," and you see stacks overflowing in my cart. I'm gonna hand all the papers over to her of everything that happened, and basically act as a notary for all of us. So I'm just gonna make sure that happens, and then I'm gonna head back to my tribe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get everything back together. I have been in contact with my dad a bit and Miranor, and I think we're gonna reconnect with our kin back in San Lo. Probably end up going there. So just in case you need to know where we are, that's where we'll be.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm headed north. Probably going to be there for a little bit. Make sure everyone's okay and initially try to help them get back up on their feet. And then I'm probably going to head south and, try to help just rebuild, especially the towns and villages and places we've been. And then I don't know what's in store for me after that, but I guess we'll see. Oh, and here, take this too. And Drell pulls out the letter that Minnis wrote just in case he didn't make it, and he just hands it back to Minnis, and he goes, "I guess I didn't need this after all."
I'm like, "Yeah, you're right after all. I didn't read it, I promise. Here's your letter." And I hand him back the papers that were folded up.
Wait, what the hell is that? Oh, I mean, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, Drell, let's find ways to connect our tribes into the future, all right?
Sounds good.
Take care. And Minnis gets in his carriage and heads away.
Drell, as you head in yours, Minnis takes 5 minutes longer to leave as the person who's driving the carriage loads his 96 box of papers onto the car. He goes, "How can one write so much? He was asleep for 5 of the days. I don't understand. I don't understand." And you see that as Minnis's carriage travels along the road, along the capital road to the city of Aramore. You see like loose papers are like blowing away in the wind because there's just too many notes.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a good thing I have so many copies. Half the crates are just copies.
What? you see the cards rear off to the side.
Yep.
Drell, you return back to the Ashbourne clan. And Armos, you go back to the town of Gilo. And the first stop you make to rest your hat as you devise next steps is the Running Goblin Tavern. You met Duncan, and where you originally met Drell and Minnis. The tavern is still standing. It has some light damage to it, but because it was in the center of the town, it didn't take too much wear and tear from the on-raging war outside. The city is well maintained, although its walls are heavily battered. Inside, after a few days of travel, 3 days have passed, you see that Duncan is inside fixing up his tavern. And he has a huge smile on his face when he sees you. He goes, "Old friend, look at you! You're back! This is all thanks to you three. Hey, come over here, lad. I got a drink at your name on it. And that tab from all those years ago, were you staying here freeloading? Don't even worry about it. It's settled."
Yeah, that's why I was here. I was going to pay that. Oh, thanks.
So it gained
Appreciate
interest,
that.
but don't even worry about it.
Oh.
Don't even worry about it, lad. I'm sure you have places to be, but you may stay here for as long as you want. On us. And you hear him yell into the bag, "Hey, lad, why don't you go ahead and bring out a couple of cups and get the good elven wine." You hear some heavy stepping of metal armor. You see, about the size of a young teen, is one of these elemental pieces of armor. As you see this green flame ignite, you understand its elemental speak. You notice that this was the green elemental that Duncan has been looking for. You are looking at the soul of Bushwick.
Oh.
Barry's kid, the kid that was taken, episode 2 in Arc 1, as he was turned, unfortunately, into a elemental. But because of your help back in Arc 8, when Duncan was looking for Bushwick's soul because he felt that he was alive, he had found that green flamed soul in a jar and found a suit of armor, and he took him home. "This is my little apprentice here. He's gonna make a fine member of the town."
How tall is he?
He's about 4'8". He's like the size of like a teenager, but he's like, it's just like a modified piece of armor. Yeah, we did some modifications. We wanted to make him feel a little more appropriate to his age, so.
I kneel down and grab him by the shoulders, just smile. Almost like that.
He asks for his toy train.
Toy train?
As the flame erupts from inside the helmet. As that was like the first clue that you had that you used, because he left his like little iron chain behind, and you don't have it on you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't have it.
And he understands. So we're gonna go ahead and fade away as you rest your hat there. A whole week later, we are in the Ashbourne clan. As you are walking through heavy snow, you don't see any blood shards, but there is frozen blood scattered throughout the snow in North Trulis. As you traveled through the Kingdom of Brim and No Man's Land, you saw that a lot of the towns have taken damage, but most of them are still sturdy and still up. None of them fell because of their more animalistic nature, their more feral nature. And you return home, and you see that there are less tribesmen than you are used to seeing. It looks like your numbers have been thinned out. However, you do see the clan is still intact as you are now greeted with the warmth of the lava flow. As you are finally home, back in the volcano of the Ashbourne. And you see the Goliaths look over to you and they're like, "Sound the horn! Drell is back! Drell of the Ashbourne is back!" And you hear this clamoring hammer resonate down as this battle horde is sounded, as all the people immediately stop what they're doing and rush to the entrance of your home.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sorry it took so long.
Much better now.
Yeah.
We see you finally went out and slayed that monster you were looking for hard.
And you see all these Goliaths come over and they're all putting their arm on you and they're trying to like weigh you down, but like you're so much stronger than them that like you're holding your own, but like they're trying to like push you around, like trying to hype you up.
Yeah, you know, I'd had to take care of a few things, but it looks like you guys held your own while I was gone, huh?
Yeah. Oh, it was a fight here. It was a fight. There was demons running around. There was giant mammoths freaking out. It was hailing blood.
I would like to walk over to the wall where all the weapons are and pull out my dad's axe and kind of look at it one last time and then just put it on the wall.
You look for a spot on the wall as you look at your father's axe. You look up at the wall, and there's a space, and the space is right next to Aunt Dory's greatsword. You see your Aunt Dory's greatsword hanging on the wall. This giant sword. And you see at the edge of that giant sword is a demon skull that has been cracked and lodged into the edge of the sword. And as you're looking up, like about to hang it up, you're looking at it, smiling, a familiar face, puts his hand on your shoulder, and he goes, Dory, when we were attacked, this huge mammoth broke through, corrupted, splintering with all these spiked shards and throwing a rampage and hurling these balls of blood at people. And you gotta see her. She came out charging and smacked that thing right in the head so hard that the sword was stuck in its skull. And we couldn't even free the sword from the skull without removing it. And we just thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty metal. And it definitely sounds like her.
It's even more metal is that the impact was so strong she died on the hit.
Fuck.
All of her strength went into it and she died.
That's so metal. That's insane.
We waited for the dust to settle and they just stood there. While the bloody mammoth lay limp, she just stood in place, feet firmly into the ground. The force sunk her into the earth at least 3 feet from the sheer force of her fatal blow. So we decided to leave it on there. We thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I'm glad she went out the way she wanted to.
Me too.
Speaking of that, is there anyone around that knows about like the rage blood type thing? Because I know it wasn't only me and Dory, but there was like specific people. And I just want to see if it's still like a thing, like within like the bloodline of the Ashborn, or if it's like gone or whatever.
Nobody seems to have any side effects of it. You do know that the curse has ended.
Okay.
With you, but there's still residuals within you.
Yeah.
As you hang up this axe onto the wall next to your Aunt Dory's blade, well, you knew this from when you defeated the crystal, that the gem is gone, so that it is no longer socketed with that blue acrylic gem. That
okay.
also goes for Armos' tome and Minnis' sling, as it disappeared with him.
Yeah. And then, can I make a perception check to see if Mammy's one of the mammoths that survived?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or like what kind of role
I'm
would
gonna
that
say
be?
yes. So I'm gonna see that one of the mammoths that are in there relaxing is Mammy the mammoth, and she had like snooted at you as you walked in.
Oh my god, you fucking made it. That's insane.
You see Mammy stomps in rebuttal, as it seemed a little mad at you at first, but happy that you're here.
It was Minnis' idea. I'm so sorry.
From there, we're gonna skip to Minnis. Minnis, as you arrived in Aramor, you had delivered all this paperwork, and you had given them copies and copies of your breakdown of what happened and the story through your eyes and however you wanted to present it. You met the queen, and the queen was this young woman, early 40s, it seems like, with long silver hair, in shape, wearing full plate armor, and she has a squire next to her with holding a massive club, like a steel mace that's holding her weapon, a giant two-handed mace. And you see that she is always ready for battle. And you've learned that through her personality, because this is the first time meeting her. She is very stern. She is war-tempered, and she has a solid resolve. She looks like she would be the first one in line of battle. And you see that her weapon is extremely bloodied and used heavily. It seems like it was recent. And you deliver all these notes, and she thanks you for all your aid, and she acknowledges the Ivory Boulders as an official alliance with the Kingdom of Aramor, and acknowledges them as a settlement within the kingdom itself. However, does not demand fealty to the crown as thanks, without the taxes and stuff, because you are a Minotaur clan. You don't believe in that stuff, and she accepts that.
I get her to sign my wanted poster.
She has a squire sign it in her behalf, as to like not do anything on any official documents. It is nothing but formality.
He still likes
it. And you return home. And as the carriage returns to the Ivory Boulders through its wooden gates, and you get out, you see that everybody immediately stops what they're doing. And they all turn to look at you. And they are all shocked as they heard the stories and what Miranor have been spreading, as there are all these different Sids around. These Sids have been sprouting off from Sidonor, as all these people are in disbelief that the rumors that they've been hearing and the sudden change of attitude from Miranor from what he has witnessed. They all looked at you shocked and you are all speechless. As you walk down the center road of your town towards like the main cave, you begin to walk home. You know your mother had passed and your father is there. You see that as you walk along the main path, as people just like slowly crowd, but do not approach you in disbelief. You see at the top of the hill leading up to your home, you see Titus. You don't see any facial expression as the shadow covers his face as his head is almost down, but he is standing before you. You see that he's heavily bandaged and he has a crutch from a bruised leg. You see that he slowly walks towards you.
Dad?
He keeps walking towards you in silence.
Just say what you're going to say, okay? I know I went out, I was hasty, I should have been here, I should have been helping, there's so many things I could have done better. Just say it, okay?
He walks closer. As you see, he's about 10 feet away. As you do not see his face as it's covered by this long black hair.
Everybody else, get your jokes in. How could a Minotaur like me help the clan, help the world? Just get him out. As he's looking at everybody coming out of their houses.
He cuts you off as he drops the crutch, goes down to a knee, and embraces you in a tight hug. As you feel the tears stream down his cheeks onto your shoulder, and he cries softly to himself, and he says, I am so sorry, Minnis. I am so sorry. I have never been more wrong in my entire life, and I took my resentment out on you. And he squeezes tighter.
Minnis is definitely in shock for a moment because he played this out 1,000 times in his head, and this is not even close to any of the scenarios that he thought because he overthought and overthought and overthought. And so for maybe 5 seconds, he's just sitting there in shock, not knowing what to do, and then slowly brings his arms up and hugs his dad. I love you, Dad. I'm sorry.
I love you, Minnis.
I wish I was here. I could have saved Mom.
You see that more tears run down his face, and he slowly like gets up and breaks the hug. He looks at you. He's like, I think you got a little bit taller since the last time I seen you. And he sees it like he's like looking at your whole body. He's like feeling your shoulders. He's touching your face. He goes, when did your eyes become gold?
Listen, I met your friend, Dad. I met Pharos.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
And, turns out we are blood related. Not that I didn't believe it. But, even though we had hard times, I'm proud to call you my dad. He grits his teeth a little, but you can hear the genuine tone in Minnis' voice as he says that to his dad.
We both know I don't deserve that title. And I can explain everything.
Please. Here, let's go inside. I'll, make some of Mom's snickerdoodles. I have the recipes.
You go inside with your father as another time skip happens. And he explains to you who Pharos is and the relationship between him, your mother, and you, and how they were friends. And they used to be adventuring, and how Pharos was the alleged god of luck. And he kind of didn't believe it for a long time, but you know, after he gave his like blessing to your mother Mira and all that, he was always jealous because he thought that something else happened. He couldn't believe that he was friends with a real god rather than giving a blessing, because Mira had asked him for help to have you, and because of that, you had gained some of his characteristics through that godly connection. And he always resented him for that. And that resentment always passed on to you because you remembered like these moments of happiness with him. And then whenever he was reminded of Pharos in some way, because you got a lot of his personality traits, you got a lot of his, interests and such, he grown resentment over the years. And he always admitted that, yes, he wanted a son more like Miranor because he was somebody that was more, he looked closer to him.
And his friend who passed away in battle, Miranor's dad.
And you two kind of reconcile things to the best you can, but you know that years of mistreatment can't always make up, but you two are now on the solid terms of rebuilding that connection. Now that the false Hydra's influence is no longer hovering in Humbrea anymore, we're going to skip 1 year later. In that year, the three of you had started making some preparations and your next step goals. Starting with Minnis, 1 year later, you find yourself sitting in front of a gravesite, which is your mother. And you're healed, And in that time over the last year, you had agreed to approach Miranor for the rightful spot of chieftain. And that is the day. Today is the day that you choose to face Miranor.
This is in Sandlow, by the way. At this point, they've probably all traversed and met back up with, their relatives in Sandlow, reconnected. Minnis has helped Numi with their bookstore. They're dating. It's lovely. It's
awesome. Perfect.
And at this point, Minnis and Miranor are probably in some ways, just good friends,
Chummy.
Yeah. They still get on each other's nerves for sure because they both call each other out for things. Miranor will call Minnis out when he's being overbearing. He'll call Miranor out, when he's not being emotional enough. And when this day comes, it's gotten to a point where they've made it known to everybody in the tribe. It's not just hey, we're going to do this on our own. They want it to be an event and they make it such.
And before you meet up with that encounter, you are reminiscing about your mother at her resting place that you decided. And you're just reminiscing of all the good times. And you know that this is a big day for you. And every big event over the last year or so, you've always started your days here, just spending time with your mother, remembering her. And then you feel a presence next to you as something sits down and you feel like you're alone. Nobody's looking upon you. Nobody is there visiting with you. And you see this ethereal-like spirit sitting next to you, a minotaur. But it is not your mother, but it is feminine in shape. But you recognize this. The last time you saw this figure was in Arc 1 when you met Melora. And sure enough, it is her once again.
Oh my goodness. You have a Sidlora.
Yeah, you see this little spectral Sid come out. She goes, you wouldn't believe the lengths, the great lengths this little guy went to find me. And I rejected it the first time, and he was relentless. He wanted to be by my side. No matter what, I have trapped this thing in little pockets of dimensions you wouldn't even know. Trapped it in the Feywild, it still found me.
Yeah, it sounds like us. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. We had a discussion at length, and I appreciate all the prayers you sent my way and your belief in me, and it was quite reassuring even in the darkest of times. And even when the creatures of the forest began to doubt my existence, you kept pulling through, and I thought it was time to meet you again. A long time ago, I told you I knew someone that you reminded me of, only to find out that he's the reason you're here.
Yes.
Pharos was a great friend of mine. He's a great friend to a lot of gods.
I believe that. I can see why people liked him so much.
Yeah, he had something about him.
He was very selfless.
Yeah, he gave a lot. Only to find out he gave himself for here. And I know it goes a question that I'm happy to answer is, why don't we do anything when we're preyed upon in the darkest of times? Well, because, we're not really allowed to intervene. And it's not really our place. And he did, and he knew he shouldn't, but he still did, and he paid the ultimate price for it. She looks right in your golden eyes, and she goes, I couldn't let another god go unnoticed. She looks in your golden eyes, and she acknowledges your godly presence. And you know that a god can only be acknowledged as a god is when another god acknowledges that they're there. So of all the gods I've met, I've never met a god of friendship. And that explains this little guy. And she holds up her Sidlora. You spread friendship throughout all the realm, keeping everybody on their toes, and these little critters have been uplifting spirits worldwide. Some truly beautiful that cannot go unrecognized.
Well, not everybody feels accepted in this world, and I figure everyone could use a friend.
And as you end that sentence, you feel her hand on her shoulder, and you look away and you go to look at her, and she's gone.
I smile, and I take her sling off for the first time in all these travels since I've gotten it, and I rest the sling over my mother's grave, and I put one of the helmets right in front of the grave, and right on top of that, a fresh snickerdoodle, and I walk away.
You walk away from the gravesite with those 3 items laid there at her, laid to rest. You see that Miranor meets you on the road, goes, hey, brother. You see that he's all healthy, he's ready to go, he's spry, he's jumping in place ready to do this?
Stop grabbing me like that. You're trying to weaken me before the battle, aren't you?
There's gonna be a lot of grabbing here, buddy. There's gonna be a lot of grabbing here. And he goes to push you, but he does not move you as far as he used to be able to move you. And the 3 of you get ready to bout. Now, Minnis, you are competing against Miranor for the right of chieftain. Your father is still chief, however, is ready to step down within a short amount of time. And this is the rightful heir. And this is the time where the next chieftain would get essentially onboarded. So the winner of this fight will be ready, the next rightful heir of the chieftain. Now, we could do a whole fight, but this is your story, and I'll let you tell it.
Minnis has not talked to Miranor and the tribe about, his abilities or anything to that sort. So Miranor is very surprised, I'm sure, when Minnis challenged him to a hands-only combat.
This is gonna be easy, Minnis. Listen here, I don't know about you, but I've been benching like 575 for like the last 6 months, okay? Once I got this wing unclipped, it's ready to fly.
And I like to think Miranor turns away from me and addresses the crowd in some great fashion.
Let me hear you. Do you want a little baby calf running the tribe, or do you want the bull? Do you want me to populate this town with strong bulls to run your team, to be in your army, to fight by your side? Or do you want children who are friends with little baby rocks?
As Senanor comes up, he's like,
and as he says that, almost like a camera view from behind Miranor, you see like the view rising over Miranor's shoulders as Minnis takes a growth potion and turns into rock spirit form. And then Miranor turns back.
That's great.
Look how strong I am. My muscles are so big, it eclipses the sun.
and you see that he turns around, he looks up at you in your new form.
Bang, 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 bang.
You see that the two of you begin to trade blows. Boom, boom, and you see that he's patched up. This bandage like now all over his face. He's bleeding. You see one of his horns is like knocked off the side. You see that like he has all these bruises, and you have a lot of dents in your branches. It's like as the boulder parts of you are being dented in from the sheer impact of his punches.
And at first, Minnis completely overpowers Miranor, but once Miranor gets the hang of like what he's dealing with, I think the blows come back equal, if not tenfold.
Yumi's like, oh no! Oh, you see, Yumi's like clenching like her book.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this wasn't to the death, was it? Is it? It is. She's like reading the history on the lore of it. She didn't realize the whole time. You could die
to the death. One of the Miranors next to was like, yeah, I only saw this once in my life, and it was the best death I've ever seen.
I've seen a bull rip the other bull's horns in half.
You see as she's biting her nails.
And then after blow, they hit each other, face, ribs, like bones nearly breaking. Eventually, at one point, they slam each other in the face, and they both fall over. And dust wave goes into the crowd. Minnis turns back into Minnis form. Miranor on his back.
Little Tweety birds.
There's a silence over the crowd before Minnis gets himself up. Oh my God. Yeah. He puts his hands up. Yeah.
You see everyone cheers.
Like, kill him. Kill him!
You see like somebody throws a spear because it's the rightful way.
He's like, end him!
And Numi's like, oh no.
He picks up the spear and like twirls it, spins it like a bow staff around his back. And then goes over and puts the spear.
Who's going to do it? He's gonna do it!
He puts the spear under Miranor's chin as Miranor finally comes to.
Cheeky bastard. I didn't realize you were working out like that.
And then I throw the spear down. Right next to his head. As a new chieftain, I will continue these ivory combats, but we will never again kill each other. For we are brothers, we are family, and I need Miranor more than anyone else. And I reach my hand down to Miranor.
As there's a hushed silence as you go to reach, Miranor looks at your hand, and everyone is speechless. And then you hear one subtle in the background. Boo! And then you hear a whack as one of the Siths hit him upside the head. As you clench your hand, you get him up. It's like, no, we both know you got lucky, okay? You know, my arm is a little bit tweaked, but, I could have been pushing 675 if I didn't kill, I don't know, literally hundreds
Miranor,
of
stop.
demons.
Come on.
Hey.
You don't want to be chieftain. Miranor, you know how much paperwork chieftains have to do?
What? No, they're just awesome, right? They just tell people what to do and get other people to do it.
And Titus in the background's like shaking his head.
Miranor, you don't want to be chieftain. We know what you should be. I think we need a new role in our clan.
Like a butted roll?
What do you say you join me as my right-hand man, as chief of combat, and lead our armies.
The COC.
The COC.
I like it.
You will be my cock until the end of days. As I clasp hands.
Clasp hands with yours as the two hands meet and like an oil painting fade out.
That I did not write down.
As we phase out to the mountains, deep in the Ashbourne clan. Drell, you have not only convinced your tribe, but the council members to become nomadic once more while spreading the word. Over the last year, your influence has increased the population of your tribe, and you are now seeing the benefits of your presence here. As you are slowly growing numbers, and there are now more Ashbourne babies on the way, and you had convinced them that they are ready to travel and settle to different areas. What would you like them to do exactly?
So I think what we decide to do is we keep, we still keep the area at the volcano as like a reserve or like a place we could always turn to and go back to. But I think we kind of turn to the nomadic like migration. So it's not just wandering aimlessly. It's more like roaming the north in like a certain pattern based off what time of year it is or something like that. And kind of just, stopping along the way and utilizing different parts of the area at certain times of the year. And I think that's kind of like what we develop into.
You definitely follow the climate around you. You know, by living in the north, you know the proper times to travel, when winter is harshest and when the snowstorms rage the most, and you still manage to spread yourself. So as the Ashbournes, you know that you trade with other Goliath tribes, and you also have a group of people who are willing to travel in all these different directions. Not only are you spreading and reconnecting with the tribes around you, you are also spreading through no man's land and setting up a settlement in the Kingdom of Brim, where Goliaths, if they choose, can now head through the Kingdom of Brim and potentially to the Kingdom of Aramor. And with the assistance of Lord Baron, he has allowed access for your clan to settle within the Kingdom of Brim, acting as a liaison for you and vouching on your behalf.
Yeah.
You do have people who want to stay behind and live the rest of their days. And you also, as a leader, training the younglings of your tribe to become better fighters.
Yeah, I think that's probably where Drell really takes his expertise and wisdom. He's trying to not only lead the tribe, but make sure they're better off without him, as he'll, possibly go on more adventures or explore the unexplored. So he wants to make sure they're as good off as they can be. So he's definitely helping the young become the best warriors they possibly can and prepare to defend their tribe or possibly go on their own adventures if they choose to do so.
And as you've been assisting in these roles, you have earned yourself a new nickname throughout your tribe, a name that has been chosen by you by the people, and they calls you the Icy Flame because you still have an item on you that you have yet to not fully explore. You still have your Phoenix Egg.
I do.
And this Phoenix Egg immenses incredible heat, and you've noticed that it's only been getting hotter and hotter. And you have been using this egg for travel. When during the harshest storms, this Phoenix Egg has been able to keep you warm for a certain radius, and you're able to keep a group of people warm. And people have started to refer to you as the Icy Flame.
I would say he also spends a lot of the time going around not only just small towns in the north, but he definitely has made trips to like Lil Lucius's farm to try to help rebuild. He also has gone to like Holbeck and the Sidget College, and he's tried to just help where he can with some of the younger tribesmen, not only so they can explore and see what it's like south, but also just extra hands to help rebuild. And I think he's kind of just made small trips back and forth over the past year.
During these small trips, Kemi Joe has been your companion, as Lord Baron is now too old to actually leave his fortress, and Kemi Joe has been taking more initiative and essentially doing the duties as Lord Baron steps off to the side a bit in his duties. After getting you to the Kingdom of Brim, that's where Kemi Joe has started stepping in, and he has guided you to the Sidja College to hold back to Lelouch's and establishing these connections between your new settlements and offering aid and your immense strength to the cause. And over the weeks of you traveling with him, you hear news in one of your most recent travels that only you know that Lord Baron had actually passed. He's one of the only Goliaths to live this long. He was actually 167 years old.
Wow.
Which is double, depending on who you ask, triple the lifespan of any Goliath, because Goliaths typically die young in combat. And he explains to you that the only reason why he was left to live this long was because of a gem that Kemi Joe now possesses. It is a gem that essentially extends life. And as a dying wish from Lord Baron, as Kemi Joe now takes the reins of Lord Baron's Divider, known as Lord Jofferson, as his official name, he has been gifted this amulet, essentially extending his life. It doesn't grant immortality, but it just allows a being to live longer than their natural needs. It slows down the aging process immensely.
Yeah.
Although he was one of the only Goliaths to not die in battle, he is still accepted and revered as one of the Goliaths who chose to fight through words instead of force. And then we're going to shift over to Armos. It is nighttime in the town of Gilo, and over the year, Gilo has rebuilt itself. And Gilo is now flourishing as all these people begin to come and go through it, as is one of the main connecting towns in South Trillis for merchants to go through Dillmore to now the Ivory Boulder clan, all the way down south to the various towns south of Riverwood Forest. Is one of the main cities within the Kingdom of Aramor. And it is nighttime and it is late into the evening. Almost over the last year, you had established an animal shelter for yourself just outside of town. And in the center of town, you had become a little more crafty in your ways to convince the town to erect a statue. This is your reward. This is what you wanted for saving Humbrea. And you used that leverage for yourself. And you had created a statue within the town of Gilo, which is close by to your animal shelter that you decided to open. And it is a statue of Layla. And specifically, the statue also has like background imagery to it where you see you and you're petting Layla, but Layla is this focal point. You see this beautiful marble hellhound. So like the statue's almost in 3 dimensions. You see this beautiful hellhound, then you see a smaller version of you off to the left where you're like petting Layla. And then you see this beautiful solid background of all these like different events that you have described. And the reason why you were able to make this is because of the statue notes you stole back in Arc 5 when you were in the city of Aramor during the heist, when you had your bat friend when you were trying to save Drell when he was stuck in his rat form in the jar. And you had stole these plants and you had used them to, well, erect a statue of yourself, but mainly of Layla. And all of the statue is all the same color, but there are these magical lights underneath Layla that are shining upward, almost emphasizing Layla within the statue itself. You see sketchings of Minnis, you see sketchings of Drell, you see some action scenes of yourself, and it's like that, like your favorite parts of your adventure that you had carved into this stone, with Layla being the focus. And you see all these birds sleeping on top of Layla, and you even see some squirrels and other foresty creatures laying underneath Layla's statue, as you see that animals like to rest here. Wild animals take refuge here. What are you thinking as you're sitting on the edge of the statue?
Just taking it in. Just happy that the memory of her won't be lost.
And as you sit silently, you feel somebody approaching you. You hear old wagon wheels slowly turning, and you hear an old lady, an old familiar voice. Oh, I didn't believe the rumors when I heard them, but I thought you'd be here, and you seem like a creature of the night, so I figured when it was the most private, I thought I'd come visit you again. You see an old lady who's hunched over next to a cart being pulled by a large, vicious, yet domesticated badger. It is Osha Onka, the weird merchant salesman that sold you the stones that Minnis had claimed and Drell had claimed to give you the benefits.
Oh, yeah.
The one that sold you the annoying gecko.
Yeah.
I knew I had to come see you again, and I was a little angry at you. For a little bit, Armos. But after the stories I've heard of your great achievements and You opening an animal shelter? Seems like you do have a soft side. She like tries to reach for your nose to be annoying about it, like pinch the end of your nose.
Ah.
And she sits next to you on the perch. And she's having trouble. All right. This little guy returned to me, and she holds you the stone where Nax came from. Seems like you gave up on this little guy.
I think he had his mind made up on me already.
Did he? Didn't you have your mind made up on people that changed?
It's not the same.
So do you agree that someone can give a second chance at a first impression?
Maybe.
I just find it funny that you make an animal shelter for troubled animals, and yet you gave this one up. Badger snarls.
Okay, calm down. I had a lot going on at that time in my life.
Things have calmed for now, huh?
So far, as I kind of look around and it's peaceful.
She hands you the stone forcefully. Well, with your newfound time, why don't you try again?
I jokingly give it a and kind of turn my head away.
Aren't we all troubled when we're younger? You know, I think we've all grown over the years, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you're gonna have an animal shelter, well, it's only fitting that I return this to you.
All right. Well, looks like you're stuck with me, little guy.
As you say that, you see you're accepting words as the stone begins to disappear, and in its place, you see a really annoyed red-tailed gecko. You see, like, it looks at you, you look at it looks at you, you look at it, and it bites you on the nose.
Don't you ever do that again.
You two got a lot of things to work out, but I think that's what this is for.
Well, thank you for bringing this, but all this trouble for just this gecko? Or is there something else that you needed?
Maybe it's just for the gecko. But my job here is done, and it's time for me to move on to the next town. Maybe somebody else needs some help, and I might be able to help them, like I helped you.
After she's already kind of turned away, I look at the badger that's pulling the cart.
Sir.
I reach up to it and start a conversation with it because I have speak with animal now.
Do you really?
So one of the warlock cantrips that you can take is speak with animal. And because of Minnis's choices throughout the entire campaign, he rubbed off on me a little bit. And it's my way of kind of remembering it. So I go up and start to talk to it and then try to eventually, once I gain its trust, to pet it.
It snaps at you, and through a few words, you see that you get its trust. And he goes, "You gonna take care of this thing, or I have to come back here?
Oh.
I'll eat your face." It's a honey badger, so he's like really vicious. Like, "I'll eat your freaking face, man.
Hey, don't worry.
I'll eat your whole house. Look crazy like that, man."
And you see that, like, you go to pet him after a few minutes. He accepts you, and you wave off Oshka as she leaves town in the dead of night. As you see that, as you wave her off, she almost disappears from view rather than trailing off.
I look at the gecko and I'm like, that's ominous.
He nods scarily. And the two of you begin to rework on your relationship. He was misunderstood, and you were not in the right time to perhaps befriend this troubled creature. So we're going to transition 5 years later. And during those 5 years, some of the notable people you've met along the way during your adventure have also progressed in their own lives. Trace Buge, a paladin from Dillmore that you met during your heist, rebuilt Dillmore and became the official mayor and advisor to the queen. He also reconnects with the Watchers, a group of former adventurers that you've also met throughout your adventure, to watch the stars once more and pick up their oath to protect the kingdom for what may be or any threats that come from the stars. The Shadow Smugglers, Baldy, Leslie Quillfeathers, and Hugh also work with Trace Buge as informants and messengers. They have earned royal employment with the Kingdom of Aramor and are trusted with important tasks for the Queen herself. Fognar and Thnost are no longer in their pirating, smuggling ways.
What?
And once again, are also allied with Treyas with the Watchers. They are now respected captains of the Aramor Navy as well. Duncan Bellow is still at his tavern, the Running Goblin. Alongside him is Bushwick, Barry Widestead's son. There, they both run the tavern together, and he shares stories about the three of you, bragging that he helped the three of you become who you are today. Lord Baron peacefully died at the age of 157. He's remembered as a symbol of peace between the kingdoms. His amulet that gifted him this long life was passed down to Kemi Joe. Bowden has been freed of the Nothic curse. With the destruction of Bayloon, he was finally free, and Bowden says his goodbyes and goes on his own way as wizards do. If Destiny should need his assistance again, the Weave shall demand it so. Kemi Joe, aka Lord Jofferson, has taken the reins of Lord Baron's Diviner at the Sitcha College. He maintains relations with the Kingdom of Brim and Aramor alongside Nihilus and Mulan. He also acts as a liaison for the three of you. He is one of the few people who know how to get a hold of you today. Hera, the Sapphire Dragonborn in Lelouch, had also decided to rejoin the Watchers and kindle things with Novo, helping him with his food cart and reeling him in when his stories become too exacerbated. Novo still travels in his food cart and shares his stories. He also made a Bloodshard-themed bandit menu that he offers once a year in Aramor City. Ghibli and Kara are now older, and Ghibli is leader of the Gooba Gills clan. He helps protect the Riverwood Forest and Temple alongside with Kara. Kara, with the best interest of the forest, Melora, and the world, helps keep the Riverwood Temple off limits to anyone who tries to travel to it. Dworik is still practicing his blacksmithing skills as he continues to live in Scoreus' footsteps. Within the last 5 years, Scoreus Stonebones, the stone giant, god of craftsmanship, has passed, leaving behind his godly presence and priceless knowledge for Dworik. And Micolathi Cthulhu still plots against Minnis till this very day, in one of the farms along the side of the Aramor City. Minnis, over the last 5 years, your life has transformed in remarkable ways. After your father stepped down, you rose to become chieftain, with Miranor, a newfound friend and ally. With Numi's help, the Minotaurs of Sanlo and Ivory Boulders reconnected, consolidating their power. After a vote and way too much campaigning for Minnis, the tribe was renamed to the Sanlo Boulders. Minnis is definitely a thorough chieftain, but Miranor and Numi have to reel him in from time to time.
Minnis, you can't just put labels on everything, bro.
What do you mean? This is part of my Forget-Me-Not initiative and will make organizations so much more efficient.
I don't need a label on my pocket that says bucket.
Minnis, you spend the next several years traveling around Humbrea, with Numi by your side, working as ambassadors for the clan. You help rebuild cities, share knowledge, and trade goods.
No, you don't write on this. This is Sanlo sandpaper, and it's going to revolutionize the woodworking trade.
Perhaps most notably, you have been acknowledged as the God of Friendship, a title not given lightly, but earned through your unwavering warmth and connection to others. This divine bond lives on through your Sids, who now instinctively gravitate towards those in need of companionship. May they spread your legacy one friend at a time. And after helping Sanlo grow into the prosperous city, you finally settle down and propose to Numi. You send out 2,000 save the dates and get about 500 replies from all friends all over Humbrea. Kemi Joe is set to be your best man.
Excuse me.
And Numi finally convinces you to drop your groomsmen from 50 to 6. Drell, Armos, Miranor, Berthie, and Sully throw a very wild bachelor party for you in Shadowfell. And as the spring weather comes closer, you get ready to marry the love of your life. And just before you leave your room to meet your future wife, you read your mother's letter one last time.
Dear Minnis, I'm writing this letter after a day I have dreaded for so long. A day I wish would never have come. The day my sweet son left home. You left to prove your father wrong and to leave your own mark on this world. I knew this tribe could never contain you, but it still didn't prepare me for the sight of my little Minotaur walking away from me, stepping into his future. The day you left, I spoke with your father, and he told me the truth behind your quest, how you set out to prove yourself worthy to be a chieftain. I was furious with him. I felt like he was lying through his teeth when he said, Minnis needs to do this for the clan, and he needs to grow into his horns. It pains me to see the distance between you two. I guess it's part of the process. Minnis, please know that despite the arguments and the hostility, he really does care about you. I wish you could have seen the glint in his eyes when he sharpened those hand axes for your journey. He spent every bit of his free time making sure they were perfect. There are things he has been through that have him acting odd, and I'm sure after your journey, we'll be able to sort everything out together as a family. After some bittersweet tears, I realized it's all for the best. Although I wish you were home, I do hope you stay out there for as long as you want, but as short as you need. I have been blessed to have you in my life for so long, and I would be greedy and selfish to keep you all to myself. While you're out there making new friends and spreading joy to others, I will be waiting here, practicing my dragon chess moves and making new recipes to share with all the friends you bring home. Your father might not know it yet, but your caring spirit is about to change the world. Forever always, forever loving, your mother, Mira.
That was beautiful. Drell, the past 5 years, you have carved your name deep into the legend of the Ashborn clan.
Hell yeah.
You have risen to become a revered and exalted warrior. Your prowess is unmatched, and your leadership is undeniable. It was under your guidance that your clan boldly expanded into South Trillis, establishing new settlements within the Kingdom of Brim and uniting with the free folk who ventured there before you. And interestingly so, a settlement was raised within the Kambuki Isles as well. Your relentless drive to hunt down and defeat powerful monsters has kept countless towns safe, cementing your reputation as protector. Tales of your feats now echo among Goliaths both young and old, inspiring a new generation of Ashborn warriors who look to you as a hero. But beyond the glory lies a darker thrill. Since the fall of Crystal's false moon, you've taken to the Wildside Tavern, dominating in the infamous Iron Scrap fight nights in your fearsome jazz rat form, where your power and cunning are unmatched in the ring.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I like to think that Drell also just kind of goes in and, you know, he'll fight for a few nights and then go back up, travel home for a few months and then come back, and then, you know, he definitely doesn't live there, but he probably likes to frequent it as much as he can.
This is how Drell gets his kicks off, in between fighting fearsome monsters and embracing his rat form.
Exactly.
He never found a cure for his lycanthropy,
Nope.
but yet let it become a part of him.
Yeah, it's part of who he is, you know, the good, the bad. I'm just waiting for when he turns into the dragon rat again and, you know, accidentally goes a little too ham.
Armos, the last 5 years have brought profound change and purpose to Armos's life. You settled near the town of Gilo, and you opened an animal sanctuary that was dedicated to sheltering troubled and helpless creatures. A safe haven. There you eventually mastered Speak with Animals, not just as a spell, but as a promise to listen, to care, the way your friends once did. To you, peace did not mean passivity. Driven by a fierce sense of justice, you took matters into your own hands, and when harm came to the innocent, poachers, abusers, and those who saw life disposable found themselves judged in the darkness by someone far, far more terrifying than any court. Over time, you rekindled a strange and meaningful bond with Nax, the red gecko once gifted to you by the mysterious traveling merchant Oshka. Placing Nax back into your hands, her words were simple, but the timing said everything. She knew exactly when you'd be ready, and Armos, you weren't sure what loyalty meant until a Goliath showed you. And now it was your turn to carry that virtue forward. Now standing in the heart of Thalor's crater, clad in fresh adventuring gear and garnished with a salt and pepper beard, you stand where everything ended, where everything began. You lean down and you cast a familiar spell, encode thoughts, calling forth a vivid memory, a golden ribbon from Minnis' wedding day. In a vision, Drell and Minnis are doubled over in laughter as a very angry goat in a tuxedo 2 sizes too small charges through the ceremony, headbutting the cake table and sending frosting flying all over the guests. The chaos, the joy, the way the world felt weightless for a moment. Armos, you smile for what seems like the first time in years. You gently tie this golden ribbon around an object in your hand. For a moment, you don't move, eyes lingering on it. You catch your breath. this place, this crater, the scar in the land. This is where they saved you. Kneeling, you place the object on the ground, and there are no prayers, no words, just reverence, just love. Then, with the steadiness of someone who finally learned to let go, you stand, with a final glance, turning to Nax, who has grown into a young red dragon over these last 5 years, has his wings flared out, ready to set off once more. Armos, you pat the side of Nax's neck and climb into the saddle. And that's where you say,
Let's go see if that Noel learned his manners.
Armos, you rise into the sky as the wind stirs and fills Stalor's crater and dust rolls. The world grows quiet again, except for a gentle breath of wind sweeping through the broken earth. There, where you knelt, lies a small, worn bunny. Its seams are faded, ears slightly crooked and bent, and a ribbon from Minnis' wedding day tied neatly around its neck. As the wind settles, a single thread comes loose from the bunny's side and it flutters in the wind, and in the air, it waves like a final goodbye. And fellas, that is where we're going to end our campaign.
Damn.
Man,
So good. So good. I just got chills, man. Just got chills. It's good.
can't believe, I genuinely can't believe we're done finally with our first campaign ever.
Right? It's crazy.
Dude, it's crazy just to think like how much, especially you guys who've done all the editing and stuff, like how much this has been like a part of your life over the past 3 years. And now it's like, it's met its finale.
We hit level 20.
We did. We hit level 20. Thank you for everyone that joined us at level 20.
From level 1 to level 20.
We said we wanted to. Yeah, quite an experience.
We did agree before we sent you all off that we would each say a sentence or two for parting ways. I think maybe we'll end with Tony, but I just would like to say from the bottom of Minnis' heart and my own, of course, thank you to all my friends, best friends, and bestest friends of the podcast that have listened throughout these years. It means the world to me.
Yeah. Obviously we wouldn't be here without everybody listening. So thank you all for the love and support. It truly means a lot to us. But I also just want to give a huge thanks to Tony. It wouldn't have been the same without him. He's put so much time and effort and work into like this entire thing. So, shout out Tony. Thanks, brother. Love you. And thanks for all the hard work you've done, man.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah, this was quite an experience. Our three of us, our first time from start to finish, it is our first time playing D&D together, which is kind of crazy. So I know we probably started off a little rough, and if you've stuck with us this far, we really appreciate it. It was quite the journey. We got to learn lots, and
Rough.
I can't wait until the next campaign to really kind of try to step it up a notch, which will be really cool. So thanks again for putting up with my lack of voice acting and and me trying to keep up with
What's my
these
spell
other
modifier again?
yeah, right, me trying to keep up with all these other guys.
First of all, rough, polished gem for 143 episodes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, we definitely started catching our stride pretty early, but we had no clue what we were doing at the beginning, which was kind of fun.
Nothing.
I have two things. One is some weird news I wanted to say upon completing this, and the other one is special thanks, of course. But the first thing I want to say is that this has also been a first for me because this is the first campaign I've ever played to completion in my entire
Damn.
D&D life. Since I've been playing since I was 13, I've never actually completed a game of D&D. I've started hundreds of campaigns and sessions, but not a single one has ever ended. This is the first one I've ever actually finished, so this is a milestone for me. And secondly, I just want to say thank you to all the supporters that journeyed with us. The relentless support and unyielding kindness is unbelievable, and
Absolutely.
words cannot truly describe how grateful we are. The love and support is truly paramount. It is honestly insane the amount of people that joined with us. Huge. It's great. And With that said, I just want to say to you boyos, thanks for playing D&D with me, and congratulations on completing the Bloodshard campaign. I've been your Dungeon Master, and I hope you had a good time. Excelsior. And if you get the reference, if you know, you know. Let's go ahead and bring it on to the Patreon supporters!
See you later.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
Cut. It's summertime, patrons, and that means it's time for the annual Ivory Boulder Rock Slide Festival. My parents started this tradition when we first settled outside of Gilo, and you can expect all kinds of fun activities, such as boar wrestling, boulder throwing, and the dramatic avalanche competition. This is where you try to make the biggest rock slide possible using only your horns. There are a lot of rules, but I'll go over that another day. For now, let's shout out all the lovely patrons who decided to help run the festival this year, starting with the Shadow Smugglers. The Dread, it is good to have you back. It is also amazing that you were able to help burn the coals for our firewalking competition. All the Minotaurs in my clan were so excited to see green flames for the first time. Although, maybe we should turn down the temperature next year. I had to healing word a lot of scorched hooves. Julius Kendrick, I don't know how you keep finding my location, but your presence at this festival was surprisingly fun. Our clan doesn't shy away from the grotesque, and most of the guests loved your animated skeleton show. It was amazing that you worked with Reese to create such a spectacle. The Warrior Minotaurs will not stop talking about it. Annie, Master of Weapons, your blacksmith doll was a huge hit. Most of the warriors in the Ivory Boulders clan had no idea what a pike was before you came into town. I don't think they really liked the armor, but I heard you took 127 orders. Well, I know it was 127 orders because I was sent the bill. These Minotaurs don't really get out much. Next are the Bloodshard Bandits. Morgan Ulthil, you and your fox put on the most wonderful performance for the young Minotaurs. I saw one of the youngins trying to train a flying squirrel how to backflip after watching your show. We will absolutely have you back next year, if you're able. Just next time, please don't give the kids any more potions. They got a little bit addicted. Artemis, I really appreciate you running security for this event. I heard you took down a group of gnolls that ran towards the Drell statue I carved out during the art competition. It's crazy that gnolls were found in these parts. So weird. Craig Dawnbringer, your Quasit riding arena was a big hit with the children. How were you able to train that thing to behave so well? It's like you two have this special bond, an immaculate connection, a practical pact. Oh, wait, I understand now. Knockmock! Novo was overbooked, so it's amazing you were able to make it on such short notice to run your enchanting food cart. There were so many exotic forms of jerky and soups and kebabs. Although, maybe cool it on the defamatory remarks about Novo next time. Let's keep your competition friendly, shall we? Avanox, I was a bit hesitant to hire you since you are pretty new to the Bloodshard Bandits, but Artemis spoke highly of your work. You did an amazing job keeping Armos out of the private area reserved for the elders, despite his tricks. And don't think I didn't notice you on your break taking first place on the firewalking competition. Haha, well done. Shade Greyfire, thank you for your well-thought-out speech during our flag-raising ceremony. It was so inspiring when you talked about overcoming demons and hags. I probably should have told you it was a flag-raising and then burning ceremony, though. Everyone was moved, but a bit confused at what it had to do with our hatred for the neighboring bugbear tribe. That's on me. Randy Woodburner, your wine pairing stall was such a wonderful idea. I never thought to drink honey wine with a spicy stew. Oh, but please make note to cut Drell off after 10 mugs next time. He got into sad Drell mode and wouldn't stop talking to the Minotaurs about Boxy. Sly, were you even at the festival? I couldn't find you anywhere. I did hear there was a hooded figure seen leaving flowers and fixing decorations around the festival. Did you have anything to do with that? But hey, next are the Sidget College alumni. Thank you for spending your summer break with us. David LaChance, I noticed you were going pretty hard at the Sid Spectacular After Party. I hope you had a great time. Casey, thank you so much for contributing to the festival fund, even though you weren't able to make it this year. I sent you a drawing of Miranor falling off an animated stone bull. I hope you like it. Punk, it was amazing having you and your band play at the closing ceremony. Your type of music went so well with our tradition of breaking our old chairs with boulders. Mongo, thanks for helping everyone set up their stalls before the festival. It's a shame you napped through most of the games afterward, however. I'll designate a Sid to wake you up next time in case it happens again. Same Chaos, we all love your brews, but if you try to sabotage Brandy's stall again, you will be banned from the festival. We will still order from you, of course, but rules are rules. Eris, it was wonderful having a Genasi visit our humble village. You and Artemis did a great job fighting those gnolls. I also love the part where you mistook Miranor for a beast and tackled him. That was so great. And last but not least, we have Umbrea's heroes. Bjorn Battleborn and Drown got joint first in the Rage competition. They're still very mad, though, that they tied. Truckle Darts drew the most wonderful illustrations at her booth of John Carroll and Johnny Tarr going crazy during the pie eating competition. Sludge Lone Star, Man with Glass, and Taslin did suspiciously good at the bottle bow and arrow game and walked away with a ton of stuffed Reginalds. Hart and Barry Brandbottle came in first place at the amateur brewers competition and got way too drunk off their own supply. Jesus and Iskor Storm got into a shouting match over who was the better Dragonborn warlock, as Nico, a human warlock, drank their brandy awkwardly behind them. And that should be everyone that helped out with this year's Rock Slide Festival. If you would like to help out with the next one, go on over to patreon.com/DND404 and subscribe to any of the tiers from Umbrea's Heroes all the way up to the Shadow Smugglers. Then I can personally thank you here at the end of every episode. Celebration. Until next time, everybody.